Hey guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Indiana news, politics, and government. You're not going to get anywhere else with just enough national sprinkled in to keep you entertained. Coming up here a little bit, Indy Star had a fabulous expose this morning, once again, on what a complete, just generally dishonest sleaze bucket Joe Hogshead is. And this pertains to how when he ran for mayor, he pledged not to accept lavish gifts, giveaways, tickets, and he's accepting all the things, and a bunch of them are ending up in the hands of his donors, and what's going on in these suites at Lucas Oil Stadium, at Gamebridge, at all the places. So we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. The Indy Star has been all over it on these pieces on Joe Hogshead. So we'll get into a little bit on that in coming up. But before that, amazingly, yesterday was an amazing day in Indiana government because against all odds, Diego Morales actually did the right thing. Now, he totally ruined it by making it all about himself and trying to tell everyone how he was right and he knew best. And then the answer to his solution was make it harder to get people to engage in voting, make it harder for people to have freedom of association, make it harder for people to choose who they want to vote for. But, at least for the moment, he actually did the right thing. And what I'm talking about is yesterday, the Indiana Recount Commission met about this Spencer Deary-Paula Copenhaver race. Now, that is the Senate race. It's Lafayette. I think there's actually 6 counties in the Senate race. That's the Senate race that came down to 3 votes. Spencer Deary was the incumbent. He was targeted by Trump and Turning Point USA because he voted against redistricting. Paula Copenhaver, who worked for Todd Rokita, left. Doesn't really want to talk about why she left, but she left. Maybe someday she'll talk about it. If you ever see Paula out and about, you should ask her why she left Todd Rokita's office. And then went to work for Micah Beckwith. She was the challenger, and she lost by 3 votes. And one of the things that Copenhaver's campaign is we can now say was trying to do, was get the recount commission to allow them to put voters under oath to ask them about who they voted for and why. And yesterday, by a vote of 2-1, with Diego being the tie-breaking vote, the recount commission said, no, you can't do that. Now, the Capitol Chronicle has a big article about this. Other media outlets, I'm going to work from the one for the Capitol Chronicle. There's two things that stand out. Number one, Diego actually did the right thing and not the political thing. That's first. But second of all, one of the three members of the recount commission said, yes, you should be able to call someone after the fact, months after the fact, with no proof of who they voted for whatsoever or why, not knowing which ballot was theirs or what's on the rest of their ballot. You should be able to call them and put them under oath and grill them on who they voted for. The Republican member of the recount commission said no more privacy in the ballot booth. Now, their argument was, Copenhaver's argument was, well, they put it on social media. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a trend with the Republicans, where when they don't like the results based on the rules that they play by, because this all centers around the Indiana election law, which if it got challenged in court would totally be upended. It says if you vote in a primary, you're pledging essentially to vote for that party's nominees in the fall. You're not obligated to anything. You vote for who you want to vote for. You can't be bound to vote for someone in the fall based on who you vote for in the spring. But yet, one member of the recount commission said yesterday, no, you can call those people. You can track them down. You can call them. Now, my question to that person would be, okay, which ballot was theirs? You've now got to find which ballot was theirs because there's a good chance they voted on other elections too. And do you invalidate just their Senate vote? Let's say you got the information you wanted. Let's say you got the information that you wanted. Then what? You're just going to tell them they're not allowed to vote? Okay, you voted, but now you didn't vote? Oh, and what about the other offices they might have voted for? Town or city council, all of these other things. Do those votes not count either, or just the Senate one? That's insanity. And it came down to Diego for sanity to prevail. That's how screwed up our government is. Now, to Diego's credit, he said, no, we're not doing this. But think about that. 1 out of 3 people, they were 1 vote away from saying, now it would have gone to a judge, it would have got challenged in court, all of this other stuff. But the Republican representative on the recount commission said, sure, call them, put them under oath, grill them, make them explain who they voted for and why. That's the Indiana Republican Party. People are like, why are you so mean to the Republicans? Because of stuff like this. No one owes you anything to determine, to explain who they voted for. It's their choice. You guys set the rules up where somebody can walk in a booth, say, give me the Republican ballot, and you give it to them and they go vote. Now, the Republicans are livid about this because they got beat at their own game. By the way, we're talking about like 11 people. We're talking about 11 people. Now, the Republicans are livid about this, that once again, they got beat at their own game, the rules they've set up. And so there's this huge push now to, quote unquote, close off the primary. Which brings us to Diego. So Diego is the deciding vote. You got the Democrat who says, no, you can't do this. The Republican who says, yes, put him under oath. And then it comes down to Diego. And of course, Diego can't just vote. He can't just say yay or nay. He's got to give a speech. And it's never like 20 seconds. It's like 2 minutes of stuff. And so I'm listening to this yesterday, and I said, if I got to be subjected to listening to this guy for 2 minutes, you got to be subjected to listening to this guy for 2 minutes. And in classic Diego fashion, even when he does the right thing, he ruins the moment by making it all about himself. Because he votes the right way, he does the right thing, which is basically to say you can't after the fact invalidate someone's vote unless you prove they voted illegally, like in the wrong precinct or the whatever, right? You can't go back and grill somebody under oath months after the fact and then throw their ballot out. That's insanity. So he's doing the right thing. He's doing the common sense thing. But then he has to make it all about himself and say, well, this wouldn't even be an issue if you guys had listened to me, if you General Assembly people listened to me and closed off the primary. If you guys had just listened to me, this wouldn't be an issue and I wouldn't have been put in this position. Here is Diego yesterday in front of the recount, on the recount commission, in front of these two campaigns, talking about how somehow, if everyone just listened to him, he's the good guy in all this. He's been put in this horrible position. He's so smart. If you just listen to him, this wouldn't be an issue.
First and foremost, I believe that the time to challenge voters is at the polls. That's what I've been a poll worker myself. I've been doing this for a few years. But number two, actually, we could have avoided all of this if the General Assembly, I've been a big supporter and I've been promoting close primaries for the past two sessions. I think everybody can attest. I've been promoting that we pass legislation and encouraging our General Assembly to close our primaries. I am a proud Republican, and I believe that's the way to go. And I will encourage the General Assembly next session to hopefully this time pass legislation and close our primaries once and for all. Secondly, I can tell you this, that this is the right thing to do, to make sure that we reject the motion to subpoena any voters, because I don't believe that's the right thing to do. I believe everybody, has the right to go and vote, but they need to do it the right way. And the right way, again, is I encourage the General Assembly next session to close our primaries so we can avoid all of this. And that's the explanation of my vote.
That guy, he's so unlikable that even when he does the right thing, you just hate his guts. The right way. No, sir. The right way is to follow the law, what these people did, which is I'm allowed to walk up. I'm allowed to tell you what ballot I want. You give me the ballot. That's how this works. They did it the right way. That is infuriating that people who have followed the law. I walk up, I show you my ID, I am who I say I am, I live where I live. You give me the ballot, I go vote. Now, I mean, you of course throw out. Now, part of me wanted him to side with Copenhaver because I want this stupid, dumbass voting law that we have that would get torched if it ever went to court to go down in flames. Now, of course, you got to have standing, and nobody's been affected by this law, which supposedly requires you to vote for the majority of the candidates in the fall election or voted in the previous election for the majority of the party candidates that you're pulling the primary ballot. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so a big part of me wanted this to go to court so that it could be struck down. We're not going to get that. But for him to look at those people and say, the right way. No, these people did it the right way. They showed up, they showed their ID, they said their name, they said their address, they signed the form, and they went and voted. The Republicans want to choke off freedom of access to have a say in the districts they've rigged. That's what this is about. So many people, including their own governor, and this is the most infuriating part of all of it. Their own governor, who they voted for, did this exact thing that they now claim is some egregious act. Mike Braun has admitted numerous times he voted in all sorts of Democrat primaries, including to me on the old Sunday radio show. But he had an excuse. I was always a Republican, but I wanted to have a say in my sheriff, and I wanted to have a say in my city council and my county council and all these other local races, so I voted Democrat. Fast forward to, 8 years later? And all of a sudden, these people who are doing the exact thing that the governor of the party of Diego Morales they're doing the exact same thing he did. Now they're not doing it the right way. The Republicans want to rig the districts through gerrymandering and then say you can't have a say unless you affiliate with their party, which then, of course, then they can kick you out of the party and kick you off the ballot. We rig the districts in favor of us. Then unless you pledge allegiance to us, you don't get a say. You don't get freedom to have a say in who your local elected officials are going to be. That's the right way to Diego Morales. It totally invalidates that he voted correctly, that he did something common sense. Just absolutely, absolutely disgusting. Now, this was a huge blow to Copenhaver because she's got to find 3 ballots. Well, she's got 4, technically. She got to get 4 Deary votes thrown out and not lose any herself. This was their big thing, was that they were going to put these people under oath and try to invalidate their ballot. That is the Republican Party now. But it's not over. August 18th, these people are going to get back together because there are still 300 ballots, or more than 300 ballots, in fact, that have been disputed. Now, we had Grant Schwartzentruber on last week. He was the attorney for Liz Brown, who won her contested race. And he said, look, it's pretty hard to get these elections overturned. You can contest ballots. That's a thing. That's fine. But this is going to get so petty, and it's going to get like minutia, and it's going to be like Florida 2.0. These absentee ballots, when were ballots entered, all of this stuff. And by the way, that's only 3 days ahead, August 18th, of the deadline set by state law, according to the Capitol Chronicle, for the Indiana Election Division to certify the candidates for November. So then what? What if you don't agree with the decisions by the recount commission? How do you get that to court fast enough? Other losses for Copenhaver yesterday. The recount commission voted 3-0 to deny a request from Copenhaver to issue subpoenas for testimony and documents from Tippecanoe County election officials over handling of an absentee ballot that was processed a day after the primary and added to Deary's vote total. The commission also voted unanimously against Copenhaver's request to access the federal systematic alien verification for entitlements, or SAVE database, to check the citizenship of those who voted in the district's primary. Well, I give this woman credit. She's throwing everything at the wall. She's wasting as much taxpayer time as she possibly can. But it was a bad day for her yesterday. Now, Deary's attorney tried to get the whole thing dismissed. Didn't work. They're coming back on the 18th. But in terms of the big stuff, it all went in favor of Deary yesterday, which, again, who knows with these contested ballots, but he leads by 3 votes. The fact that we even had the conversation, that the law's even on the books to be able to use is ridiculous. I have to pledge to vote for the majority of these people in the general election to vote in the primary. That is insanity. It's absolute insanity. But there's the latest on a big day related to elections and how we vote and who we can vote for. And apparently now the Republican on the Recount Commission is still open, if they don't like how you vote in the future, to putting you under oath to explain your vote. Craziness. Hey, Anthony Gary owns Indy Dwell Real Estate, and he doesn't just list homes for sale. He gets them noticed, he gets them shown, and he gets them sold without you losing sleep or sanity. Anthony's trained with the top negotiators on earth and is ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. You'll never be handed off to an administrator. You get Anthony from start to finish and beyond. Put his expert selling strategy and experience to work for you. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159, 317-756-1159. Hey, if you're with us today, thank you. We appreciate you. We're so glad you're here. Help us grow this program. There's 3 ways you can do it. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Number 1, give us that thumbs up. If you enjoy this program, if you're watching us live on YouTube or on demand, give us a thumbs up. If you're listening to us on one of the on-demand platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, leave us a 5-star review. Share the feed out, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got with social media. Let people know about us. And last but certainly not least, subscribe to our channels. Like, share, subscribe. That's how you can help grow the Rob Kendall Show. Okay, more audio. And you guys do this where, I try to do several pieces of audio every day. Sometimes it's local stuff. Sometimes that's how we kind of weave in a lot of our national content. But in every set of audio that I give for you guys, I try to do like one non-political piece. And it just so happens that I'm listening to this audio yesterday, and I'm like, it's non-political, but it totally applies to what's going on with our government and why our government is so poorly run. Do you guys do this where you'll like start in on whether it's Twitter or YouTube, you're looking for something, you're looking for stuff, and then you just get down a rabbit hole? And 30 minutes later, you find yourself looking at something, you're like, how the hell did I get on this? How did I end up watching this thing? But it's really good. I just tried to retrace my steps to figure out how I got there. I have no idea how I ended up here, but I got in a rabbit hole. And I stumbled onto an interview from 1998, 28 years ago, with Billy Joel. I don't know. I tried to retrace the steps. My memory is fuzzy. I would be a horrible witness in a court of law because I couldn't figure out. But somehow I ended up in a 1998 interview with 60 Minutes with Billy Joel. And I'm watching this, and one of the things they asked him was, they said, why are you so successful? They said, like, you've achieved all of these things. Why are you so successful? By the way, it's so weird because in 1998, Billy Joel still had hair. It's crazy. He was not as heavy and he had hair. And I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then you realize 1998 was 28 years ago. That seems like yesterday to me. 1998 does not seem that long ago. It was almost 30 years ago. But they asked him, they said, why are you so successful? And his answer blew me away because it's so perfect. And like, I'm listening to him talk about why he's so successful, and I was thinking to myself, it's actually why our government sucks so much today. And quite frankly, our society. Because Billy Joel's answer to why he's so great wasn't that he's outstanding. He was very humble in his answer. He denied that he's even great. You'll hear it here. He just basically says, I'm competent. And I'm competent at a whole bunch of stuff. And because everyone else is so bad, I look good. And it got me thinking how everyone in the social media era, like all of our politicians, it seems like they're going out there wanting you to see how great they are. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at the stuff I'm doing. Look at how great I am. Look at how you need me. They believe they're stars. So few of our politicians just go about their business. They think they're the best. They think they're stars. And the reality is, so few people in government focus on being competent. There are not that many actually competent people in government who actually go about delivering results. And it got me thinking about this audio I'm about to play for you with Billy Joel about how that's right. It's true in our government. It's true in our society. Think about how few competent people you actually know. And you can look really, really good if you can just pull off the basics. Listen to Billy Joel describing his success.
Why do you think you've been so successful?
Well, I have a theory, and I've said it before, and it sounds a little like false humility, but I think I know how to do what I'm supposed to do. I know how to write music. I know how to write lyrics. It may not be the greatest thing since Shakespeare, but I know how to do it. I know how to play the piano. I know how to perform on a stage. I know how to record. I know how to work with musicians. I know how to do the gig. I actually just feel that I'm competent. I'm a very harsh critic of my own work. And I sometimes will look at what I've done after I've finished recording something and say, okay, fine, that's about as good as I'm going to get. And I'll never really be 100% satisfied, but I'll feel like I've done the best I could. And I say, okay, that's all right. At least it's competent. And when you're competent and you live in an age where there's a lot of incompetence, it makes you appear extraordinary. That's my theory. I think that's a good part of it.
One of the biggest rock stars of all time. Think about the endless hits, all those sold out shows at Madison Square Garden, world tours, the whole Billy Joel persona. And this is 1998, so it's, he's had the success that we kind of associate with Billy Joel. He's obviously done a lot in the last 30 years. But all the main hits, all the main stuff you think of Billy Joel, he's had that when he gets asked this question. And they asked him, how did you do it? And he's like, I'm just decent at everything. I'm not great at any one thing. I just know how to do the stuff. And Jason will back me up in this. We'll ask him when he come in for the YouTube comments. And I think about that in our industry. How many incompetent, brutally incompetent people are in positions of power and influence and prominence that have ruined our industry? And they're put there by other incompetent people. The radio industry, the television industry, it died. It's dying. It got replaced by streaming, by satellite, by all these other things, because incompetent people took it over. Incompetent people made incompetent decisions and put other incompetent people in. Where if you just had normal, people who understand business, people understand how to make money, we wouldn't be in this position today. It's true in the music industry. I mean, I remember when HD radio became a thing. Remember when they launched HD radio? They had that technology 10 years before they put it out to the public. What'd they do? They sat around fighting with each other, the radio industry, on how to roll it out. Who got the most benefit? Who got this? Who got that? What happened? Satellite came in and took all the people. It all could have been HD radio. Does anybody even talk about HD radio now? They're used as translators primarily. Nobody flips over to HD radio. They're used as translators for other stations. And I would imagine in other fields to which I have not obtained experience, what he just said is true there too. Just be competent and you will be seen as great because there are so many incompetent people around you. Damn, that is the radio industry. I heard that and I was like, that is the story of my life. I sat there and I watched that clip 3 times with my jaw open because I was like, holy smokes. There are so few people, especially in positions of management and power, who can just do the job competently. Man, that one hit home. All right. let's move on. Trump yesterday. So yesterday was Lindsey Graham's funeral. Trump spoke. He was sort of the featured speaker. And I want to play a little bit of this because, like, Trump always veers off the script. No matter what thing he's at, he's just got to be like, I'm done. I'm going solo. And even at a guy's funeral, he veers off the script. And I'm chuckling to myself because, like, this is so ridiculous, but it's the most Trump thing ever. He starts, like, almost debating with himself if Lindsey Graham is going to get into heaven or not. At the guy's funeral, like, he doesn't do it directly, but he starts to, and you can, when you watch him, when you're watching the video components, you can see the wheels turning in real time. Where did Lindsey Graham end up? That becomes the focus of Trump's statement. Take a listen to this.
Pool hall where his parents raised him, to the halls of the United States Senate where he was respected and loved. This son of South Carolina became one of the most important men in the most important country on earth. In a city where politicians often become jaded and cynical, Lindsey Graham never lost the old-fashioned American idealism that brought him to the highest levels of government and life. He took his duty seriously without taking himself too seriously. He was unwavering in his principles, but always willing to listen. He always wanted to listen. And one thing about Lindsey that we all know, he never quit. You wanted him to quit, you waited for him to quit, but he would never quit. Above all, Lindsey Graham loved America, and he believed in the American people. If you shared that view, you had a friend in Lindsey. If you didn't share it, there was no fiercer or more constant opponent. Our nation needs more men and women like that great person sitting, laying, wherever he may be. I think I know where he is, and I think he's up there. I think he's watching us. I'm pretty sure of it.
Where is he at? I mean, he's nailing it, right? You could see him. He's reading the script, right? He's reading from the thing. He's doing fine. And then he's just like, where is he at? He's laying. I think I know where he's at. I don't know. Hey, I'm sorry your friend died. He could be in heaven. Maybe not. I don't know. But you got me. It's just like, God dang, man. Yeah, I mean, it was just short of asking the guy to stand up in the wheelchairs. Sorry that I thought, you're doing great. You're hitting the cues. You're saying all the things. And then Trump. When I kick the bucket, please, whatever you do, don't let Trump speak at my funeral. All right. New audio yesterday. This was, look, guys, we have said this for months now. There is a real chance, despite the fact that the Republicans are despised by the American public, and Trump is despised by the American public, that they may not lose this fall. It would defy all historical data, trends, expectations, but it may not happen because the Democrats are so bad. As bad as the Republicans are, people often view the Democrats as worse. We use the phrase here, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And again, it comes back to the Billy Joel thing. Just be normal. Just be competent. You don't have to be great or tell people how great you're. Just do your job. And in this case, your job is just like put normal candidates out that have basic common sense ideas. That's it. And you would win. And the Democrats can't do that. They won't do that. And they are in huge trouble. The DNC is in huge trouble. Only the Democrats could find a way to not win like 30 seats in the House and take the Senate this fall. Only the Democrats. And so now there's this report about the guy who runs the DNC, that Ken Martin is his name, that he's under investigation for being a complete nutbag. He allegedly threw a phone at a staffer, and that the DNC is so broke they had to use their building in Washington, D.C. as collateral to get a $15 million loan to help candidates. It is unbelievable how bad a shape the Democrats are in, especially given the fact of how the American public views the president and views the Republican Party, who's in power. So David Hogg, you guys remember David Hogg? He was one of the kids at the Parkland shooting. And then he became a big-time lefty activist. And he actually rose all the way to the level of DNC vice chair before they kicked him off. Now, they came up with some diversity quota that he interfered with, but basically they kicked him out because he was mouthy and he made the Democrats look bad. He kept pointing out how bad the Democrats were doing, how bad the establishment was doing, and they're like, you got to go. And so they kicked him out as the DNC vice chair. So he was on, I think this was MSNBC. Well, it's not MSNBC, whatever that's called now. And he got asked about if he was surprised at how bad it's going for the Democrats. And he didn't miss an opportunity to take the victory lap. He said, nope. Take a listen.
Was that a July meeting?
I don't know. It looks like it is. It says.
That's 5. We need 4.
Unfortunately,
there we go.
I am disappointed to see them, but I'm far from surprised. I saw the writing on the wall early on. I remember talking about some of the issues that were going on that helped to decide the election. Let's remember here, one of the main things that Chair Ken Martin ran on releasing was an autopsy report that would bring real accountability to the DNC. And that was totally fumbled, where there was no mention of Gaza, there was no mention of inflation, there was no mention of the president's age, or any actual issues that decided the election. And they couldn't even be bothered to include a conclusion in that. Then you add on top of that it's now been 18 months. And they had to put the building up as collateral, and they're $2 million in debt. And then you juxtapose that with the progressive movement and what's going on out there. It's incredibly sad to see the DNC in the committee at this point, and it could not be more clear that he's unfit to lead. We need somebody who can actually raise money and also not throw his phone at staff.
That's unbelievable. The Democrats may lose this fall. I mean, they're going to have to up their game to not get the House, but they're trying. And the fact that they're not going to end up with the Senate in all likelihood is a total indictment of that party. All right, one other piece of audio, and we got Nikki Kelly coming up with us. We got a ton of stuff to get to with her. Okay, so the tapes of Biden talking with his ghostwriter from April of 2017 have now been released. And now remember, this is April of 2017, so he's just gotten done being vice president. He's just gotten done being vice president. He's working on this book. He hires this ghostwriter. And these tapes have been kept under wraps, even though they have leaked out what was in them because of all these investigations into Biden and his handling of classified materials. Now, again, I want to remind you, this is 3 years before he ran for president, because you're going to hear a couple things in this audio that has come out. Number one, listen to how old and feeble he sounds 3 years before he runs for president. He's just a few months removed from being vice president. And we were told 3 years later that this guy was competent enough to run for president. That's the first thing. Then in this audio, you will clearly hear him acknowledge he is in possession of classified information, and he hands it over to this reporter, to this writer. Take a listen.
Was that a July meeting?
I don't know. It looks like it is. It says I changed pens. So it's got to be after the 17th of June. And then it's a long meeting where DOD brief at DOD POTUS Air Force 2, 2:30 p.m. There was a big meeting down in the Situation Room. It would have been. Some of this may be classified, so be careful with it. I'm not sure. It's not more classified, but I just found all the classified stuff downstairs. I wrote the president a handwritten 40-page memorandum.
I mean, he clearly says to this guy he barely knows, here's classified information. Be careful with it. And you can't use because the whole thing with the Hurd investigation was, well, he was old and he was feeble. Remember, they interviewed him as president, and the prosecutor, investigator, said, well, okay, yeah, he did it, but he was so old and feeble, I wasn't going to prosecute an old and feeble man. He's the leader of the free world. But he's too old to remember properly or explain properly how he did things. And this is 3 years before they ran him for president. So you can't use that here. This guy is dirty beyond belief. He blatantly acknowledges he has this classified information. He's handing it over to this guy who did who knows what with it. And yet, absolutely nothing happened or is ever going to happen to Biden. Unbelievable. Hey, you guys got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell McKay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell McKay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell McKay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMcKay.com, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Okay, we got a ton of stuff to get to with Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. We've got the Max Engling stuff, that dark money donation that was forced to be returned. You've got the stuff with Diego we got to get to. We got gas prices that are about to skyrocket in the state of Indiana with the gas taxes getting suspended. Ton of stuff to get to. One of the best in the business. Nikki Kelly joins us next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Did you know Honeysuckle Hill in Brazil offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book today by visiting their website at honeysucklehillb.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell McKay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell McKay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
It is the Rob Kendall Show, joined as we are most weeks by one of the best in the business from the Indiana Capital Chronicle, the great Nikki Kelly. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. All right, this Max Engling story is fascinating to me. The $60,000 dark money donation that was given back. They tried to say they didn't know much about the group. Now there's all these accounts of him promoting the group or going to events with the group. I think this story is interesting because David Shelton's the guy who filed the complaint. What say you?
Yeah, look, David Shelton knows the law and the election law, and he was clearly very right on this one. You know, it's a nonprofit. Even though it's a nonprofit, it's still a corporation. It's still incorporated. And those have a $5,000 limit for direct contributions in Indiana. And they tried to sneak through a $60,000, contribution by labeling it as other instead of under corporate, which would have obviously shown, that it was way too big. So they say they've returned it. And I think they want everyone to just accept that it was, an error and move on. We'll see if the Election Commission hears the complaint. They basically already satisfied it, and they might get fined, a couple $100 for that. But, I'm not sure how much more, I guess, legs it has.
Shelton sent out a press release yesterday, and he was like, I accept nothing. And he even said we shouldn't trust that they gave the money back. I don't remember David Shelton ever being this fired up about something. It could be sour grapes. It's very entertaining, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is basically alleging that this was intentional fraud of some sort, maybe to pad the campaign finance books when, for the filing that was in July or not, but he's basically alleging, this was completely intentional. But that's a hard thing to prove. And so, we'll see. One thing it does point out is, I do find it a little incredulous that saying that he didn't understand or know who this group was. This group was spending millions of dollars this primary season to unseat Republicans, and it's tangentially related to his boss, Senator Jim Banks. So there were lots of stories being done about this group. And so, I think some confusion has come out. Well, like, how could they spend all these massive amounts of money in those Senate races and this one be illegal? And the key is this was a direct contribution. And I just checked. It's literally the only direct contribution to a candidate that this group gave when I ran it. The others were they would run their own ads against a candidate, and those are independent expenditures and don't have a limit.
Okay, so the thing that fascinates me most is is, maybe still is, his own treasurer. I don't remember like a big time candidate being their own treasurer. You've been around this a lot longer than I have. Do you ever remember that where like a statewide office holder was his or her own treasurer?
I don't think of one right off. I got to be honest, I don't pay a lot of attention to who the treasurer is. I mean, ultimately, the candidate is responsible, and in this case, he's double responsible if he's the treasurer too. So,
all right. So I want to talk about this. Was breaking news. We led off our show today with it that there was a huge decision in this recount case for the Senate race in Lafayette, in which by a 2-1 vote, the election. There's so many elections. Is it commission, division? What are they?
it's the Indiana Recount Commission.
Recount commission. There's too many of these divisions, commissions. Now with the England stuff, there's other letters flying around. There's too many of these people to keep track of. So the recount commission, by a vote of 2-1, told Paula Copenhaver, you cannot subpoena people under oath to find out who they voted for. Diego was the tie-breaking vote in terms of no. I kind of wanted this to go forward because I thought it would have ended up in court and would have taken down the whole election law. I don't think we're going to get that now. What do we know?
Yeah, so obviously those were the people that she was going to focus her biggest effort on were people who posted or told reporters, "Hey, I'm a Democrat or a progressive and I voted in the Republican primary." So that is now, kind of out the door. That's not to say, I believe they have like 300 disputed ballots. So that's not to say that the recount's over. There's still going to be another hearing where they're going to dispute a lot of ballots and it's a 2 to 3 vote margin, depending on if they accept this Park County vote that was found at the last minute. And so, it's still going to go on, but it certainly was an interesting discussion to see if they would be open to, calling voters in front of a board and having them, divulge their political leanings and votes, and 2-1 they decided no. And it was a Republican, Diego Morales, obviously, and a Democrat, Michael Clater, who voted to deny it.
There's a theory that, I mean, most people I know have no idea this law even exists, that basically when you vote in a primary, you're somehow pledging to vote for all these candidates in the general election. I guarantee no one other than you even knew that law existed.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that was brought up in this commission. It's certainly a law that I think most voters would have no idea of. We're getting a bird's eye view of it, and I think the law is unenforceable, possibly unconstitutional, and now I think it's probably going to go away. So I think they'll just close the primary altogether, and then we won't have to deal with whether it's unconstitutional.
Oh yeah, they're going to close the primaries now, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, a couple of other things I want to make sure I get to. You had a fabulous piece on the gas tax, and basically what you said, and it was an opinion piece, where you basically said this is the worst time possible for this to be happening because there's going to be so much sticker shock. Gas isn't going to be going up 10 cents a gallon or 5 cents a gallon, which makes people angry. It's going to go up 60 plus cents a gallon. And you said the legislature has zero appetite to help out and have a special session.
No, you almost a tiny bit have to feel bad for Governor Mike Braun. I think when he originally went into this, he believed what Donald Trump said, which was this war is going to be short and swift, and we're gonna, win, and everything will be back to normal in a couple months. And so he went this route, and 4 months later, we've cut more than $500 million in gas taxes from drivers, which is great for us. But unfortunately, the war is now back. I mean, if it was ever gone. And so are the high prices. And so he's not even going to get the real, the benefit of because, up till a couple weeks ago, they had dropped markedly. And so even putting that back on, it still would have seemed better, right? But we're basically going to have a 4-month period where we started it paying more than $4 a gallon, and we're going to end it paying more than $4 a gallon. And, at least in the middle there, we got some relief, but it's definitely going to suck for drivers.
Feeling on why there's no appetite. I mean, you guys had a big story that they're looking at a potentially $5.3 billion surplus for next year, or revenue. What do they call that? Not surplus, but reserves. Reserves. There's so many different ways the government's holding our money. They're hard to keep track of. Even like something short term might buy them some more time, but you said you talked to several people. There's just zero appetite for it.
Yeah, and Governor Braun even spoke with reporters this week and said a special session was unlikely. And so, yeah, I mean, I think special sessions generally are disliked by lawmakers, and especially in the middle of an election season where they want to be busy, they want to be out knocking on doors and going to parades and festivals and not coming down here. And so I don't see any move toward it. And part of that is I think most lawmakers recognize this is a necessary evil. And it's kind of what I said in there. You can debate the quality of the roads, but I don't think there's any argument that if we just stopped having those taxes, like roads would literally crumble. There would be no way around that.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Nikki Kelly. I'm willing to roll the dice.
You can let your road crumble. I don't want mine to.
Oh, I'm going to drive you around Brownsburg. You'll see what we're dealing with all these gas taxes. Okay, so this brings me to, I have a opinion piece coming out in the Indy Star here one of these days coming up, and I should have just called it "What the hell's going on?" because it's the daycare stuff. So last year they're like, there's no money for daycare, and they made these cuts, and they said we got to find 225 million. And then the spring, Braun's like, hey, daycare's back on. Here's 200 million. And then Braun spoke the other day, and you guys covered this, and he's like, I enjoyed that so much. Here's 200 million more. What are we doing with our budgeting and our revenue forecasting? Because it seems to be very bad.
Well, this all comes back to that anomalous revenue forecast, and this is far too detailed, but we usually get a forecast in December. That one was pretty great. Then we got a forecast last April, and suddenly it was really bad because it was right after Trump put in all those tariffs and the economists were freaking out. And then by December, it had righted itself again. And so, then it was back to the original surplus. So it's just, there was this very outlier forecast in the middle of our budgeting process, and it has definitely caused a lot of trouble. And that's one of the reasons we've seen on this childcare daycare voucher issue is, we had increased the number of families who could apply under Governor Holcomb and during the pandemic. And so we had built up our ongoing obligations in a way that Governor Braun said, well, we can't continue this. I think once daycare started shutting down and there were fewer seats available, I think he became pretty cognizant pretty quickly that this is a workforce issue and that it is impacting the economy, like who can be working. And I think that's where he's coming at the topic. Now, can they afford an additional $200-300 million a year into that program? That's going to be a big discussion for the budget debate in January. But I mean, that's a huge chunk of money to put there.
A couple minutes left with Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle. You guys had a great article today. It'll be yesterday when this airs, about the changes coming to the Office of Inspector General, or that have come, about things not being published. When you couple this with the gutting of the public access counselor, this is a really bad look for transparency with this sort of double whammy.
Yeah, and I'd even say a third whammy when they're removing search tools from the state website and stuff like that. Yeah, so basically, since the creation of the Inspector General's office, they have posted what they call investigative summaries. And if someone's charged, it would say a name, like if they're charged with a crime or something. But otherwise, it would be like an employee at whatever agency allegedly, ghost employment or whatever, used computers for political activity, whatever, a number of issues. And it is how we learned some things, right? And so suddenly they're not going to post those. Instead, they're only going to post them when they result in basically criminal charges, which I think is a bad move. There are lots of things that are bad for state government, and that is waste, fraud, or abuse that don't rise to a criminal level. And I think, we gave an example in the story of, there was one from 2023 where FSSA lost, track of hundreds of laptops during COVID. It's like, no one was charged, but that's something that we should be aware is happening in our state government. And so suddenly they're not going to post those. It sounds to me that they're a little worried about, sometimes they wouldn't say a name, but people could still kind of intuit who was being investigated. So I think they were worried about legal risk, and sometimes what was initially put in a report didn't end up being, fully accurate. And so I think there was concern about, maybe getting sued by people who were investigated if charges did not occur.
Well, and you guys, the Indy Star had a big expose on the public access council. You guys have covered this for a long time, though, that thing is a dumpster fire, and you got people not being able to get reports or answers. And then you've got this stuff with the OIG. It seems like, and you mentioned the website stuff, it just comes off as a real, direct, intentional gutting of transparency for the public.
Yeah, it's hard not to argue that. And I know Governor Braun came in and liked to say he was going to be, the most transparent and open and available governor in the history. And so we haven't really seen that. And so there are definitely some changes being made that are unfortunate. The fact that we can't meet a state law on 30-day turnarounds for these, public access complaints is crazy. Also wanted to point out that one of the reasons they can't meet that is a third of the budget is being used for an attorney in the governor's office not to do public access work. So, there are definite questions on that. And beside the fact of who they're ruling for, they should actually have to, they posted one opinion this year. It's almost August. One opinion this year. It's kind of crazy.
And it's like Aaron Freeman's in that article. And I know you guys didn't do the article, but you guys were kind of first on this and have covered this at length, where he's like, yeah, I'd do it again. And it's like, why are you proud of this? Why are you proud of this office that people depend on to hold their local governments, especially, accountable? Why would you be proud that it's hard for them to do their job, or they're not doing their job, or however you want to describe it?
Yeah, I think he felt that the public access counselor had leaned too far the other way and was inserting opinion and not necessarily statutory law in opinions. And so he was trying to come down that way, but he should certainly still care if we have a state agency that's like physically not doing their job.
Yeah. She is one of the best in the business. IndianaCapitalChronicle.com is the website. Without that website, there'd be no show. So thanks for bringing all the people all the joy. The great Nikki Kelly, thank you.
All right. See you later.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is the inside of your house a total mess, like a complete dumpster fire? Call AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. When you walk into your house after using AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning, you will see and smell the difference. They take great pride in their workers and treat your home like their own. All cleaners pass through a background check and drug screening. Call today and mention you heard about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning on the Rob Kendall Show, and you will get an incredible $50 off your first clean. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning serves all of Central Indiana. Book your appointment today by calling 317-530-8148. 317-530-8148. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show, Hour 2. Here we go. Thanks for being with us. Indiana news, politics, and government. You're not going to get anywhere else. Help us out. Help us grow the program. Give us that little thumbs up button. Like the program, whether you're watching us live or on demand. It really does help us grow as we try to get the word out. We try to do all of this organically. We welcome all of those you who are listening on demand. Tons on demand listeners. And I feel like a little bit they don't get the love they need just because we're so into the live show. But thank you to the thousands of you that listen on Apple and Spotify and iHeart and YouTube and all the places. Thanks for being with us here on the Rob Kendall Show. All right. So let's get into the poor singing orphans of public education. Because, man, are these guys whiners. And throughout the property tax debate last year, and look, it didn't go the way any of us wanted. And it's a horrible bill. And they completely bastardized it. And it ended up being a giveaway to businesses. We're getting next to nothing. All of these risks now, all of these likely tax increases for no real tax relief, and the businesses got all the stuff. But in that debate, we kept hearing about how the schools can't suffer cuts. The schools can't make cuts. Remember the guy in Mooresville who's like, you guys passed this, we're turning out the lights. We're going to have to turn the lights out. Anybody who lives in Mooresville, let me know if the lights are still on. Please, thank you. I think they played football games on Friday night last fall. But one of the things that these schools, and it's true for all government entities, that they don't acknowledge is how much more money they've received over the past several years. And with government, that becomes the baseline. You know, like in your life, if you get a pay increase, you always have to accept that money with the understanding I could lose my job at any given time. Heck, you could have a #1 rated radio show and for no reason, you could be out of a job. Has that happened to any of you? Any of you? whatever your job is, you have to prepare that the money that I have this moment is not going to be the money that I have in the future. And you have to save, and you have to plan, and you have to budget accordingly. That's how we live our lives. And yet with government, and the schools are the biggest offenders of this. But don't kid yourself. These cities, these towns, they're already plotting the local income tax increases, all of that stuff. The wheel taxes, they're not any better. They will never do with less. You have to do with less. You have to make do. They will not. But the biggest question becomes, what did you do with all the money? The answer is they spend it. They don't prepare. They don't plan. They spend it. So last week, we had our pal Anthony Gary, sponsor of the program, Indy Dwell Real Estate. He came on and he laid out what a lot of these tax increases are going to look like for some of these suburban, or in one of them cases, in Indianapolis, Wayne Township communities, because there's going to be all these school referendums this fall. What your real tax burden probably is going to look like in terms of actual dollars. And I know a lot of you were blown away by that. And so one of the communities that he focused on was Noblesville. And Noblesville has another school referendum on top of the one they already have. And I've told you guys for years, if you don't have organized opposition that is formed months ahead of the referendum vote, you're going to lose the vote in all likelihood. I've been around these long enough that I kind of know which ones are going to pass, and I know which ones are going to fail. I can tell you usually a month and a half out which one's going to pass, which one's going to fail. You have to have organized opposition formed months ahead of time, and then from there, it just becomes a numbers game. It's doors and signs and doors. And so one of the things that I'm pleasantly surprised in Noblesville, there appears to be, at least on social media. Now, whether it translates into doors and signs, I don't know. I don't live up there. But there is a group called Noblesville Referendum Facts. And these guys are like all over going at the school system up there for the bull crap they're trying to pull. They're dedicated to stopping the Noblesville school referendum. Now, I've corresponded with those people, and like I said, I don't know who's running the page. I don't know their organization. Online is not going to be enough. In any of these communities, online banter or an online Facebook page is not going to be enough. You've got to get to the people where they're at. You got to get doors. You got to get door hangers on the doors. You got to get signs in the yard. If you don't do it, might as well just shut up and pay. But this Noblesville Referendum Facts Facebook page, which I would encourage everybody to find, you just put in Facebook, Noblesville Referendum Facts, follow the page, help them out, give them a follow. They did some deep diving on how much spending has increased per student in each of Hamilton County's public schools, and they included Zionsville in there from 2018 to 2025. So from 2018 to 2025, 7-year span, they looked at what the per pupil spending is. Now, I believe this includes the state funding, the local funding, the property taxes, and the federal tax. So all the money that is flowing into the schools, these schools, how much are they spending per student? And what's the increase? Because these schools keep saying they have no money or not enough money. And my argument has always been, no matter what you give them, they'll say it's not enough. You always ask them, or you always should ask, what's the number? Okay, you don't have enough, what's the number? They'll never tell you that because the answer is it's never enough. And this was fascinating. These guys did a lot of work over this at this Noblesville Referendum Facts page. And they got the dollar amount and the percentage increase, and that's important. Because from the school systems and these other local governments, we keep hearing inflation, right? We can't make it work because of inflation. We're getting screwed by inflation. We need more money because of inflation. Okay. Inflation's definitely a thing. But inflation is true in all of our lives. We don't just get to automatically go demand more money. I mean, you go to the grocery store now, it's a dreadfully painful experience because of the price of everything. And I'm sure you guys are like us. You've had to change the things you buy, change the brands you buy, change the amount of stuff you buy. All of those things go in, right? That is living life in the world we live, where the Republicans and Democrats, neither one of them care at all about inflation. So we keep hearing from the schools, from the cities, from the towns, inflation, inflation, inflation. Okay, let's accept inflation on its face. Inflation, base inflation from 2018 to 2025 was 28%. So basically, the same thing, if you did an average thing, from 2018 to 2025, 28% more expensive. Which that number is insane, and shame on our governments for letting it happen. Shame on the politicians for allowing that to happen. It's disgraceful. But that's the number, 28%. But as insane as that number is, it's not nearly as insane as these spending increases. Get a load of these numbers in Hamilton County and Zionsville, according to the Noblesville Referendum's Facts Facebook page. Remember, 28% is the average number when we talk about inflation. Carmel, $11,470 per student in 2018. Today, it's $16,476. That's a 40.34% increase in spending per student. Last time I checked, 40.34 is way more than 28. So we're way past inflation, and they're coming back and saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. We need more money. Westfield, $13,758 in 2018 to $20,232 in 2025. That's a 47.05% increase. Again, gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me more. 47.05 is way higher than 28%. Noblesville, $11,382 in 2018 to $19,711 in 2025. Hamilton Southeastern, $12,116 to $18,439, 52.19% increase. Noblesville's, by the way, was a 73.17 increase. So thus far, through the 4 Hamilton County schools that we laid out for you, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, Southeastern, 40.34%, 47.05%, 73.17%, 52.19%. All of those, almost all of those, basically doubling inflation or almost doubling inflation, or some of them more than doubling inflation. Sheridan, $12,907 in 2018 to $21,001 in 2025, 62.71% increase. And last, Zionsville, $12,572 in 2018 to $21,011 in 2025, 67.12% increase. All of those dramatically outpacing what we would kind of call base core inflation. It's not inflation that is taking more of your tax dollars. It's lazy, unaccountable politicians and administrators. They will never stop. They're using Senate Bill 1 as an excuse to do whatever the hell they desire. That's what it is. They would be doing these referendums or continuing these referendums no matter what happened with Senate Bill 1. They believe they are entitled to as much of your money. The public education system believes they are entitled to as much of your money as they desire. We pick the number, you pay. That's how it works. You have to, if you live in these communities, say enough is enough. We're done. And you can't just do it alone. You got to get your neighbors. You guys got to get off your asses and you got to go fight. Quote Diego Morales, fight, fight, fight. You can't let them keep getting away with this. Now, I take an interest in this, not because my community's doing a referendum. Thankfully, we were able to cut that off at the pass again. But in large part, the reason we were able to cut it off at the pass was we've beaten the referendum before. We showed the school system what they would be in store for. If they wanted to have the fight, we're willing to have it. And there's a good chance you're not going to win. If you stop them, they have to come back to the table. You have to force them to play the game. When I was in Little League, I had a Little League coach who, to every batter, he would shout, make them play the game. And what that meant was you're dealing with 12-year-olds, 10-year-old kids. If you just hit the ball, the odds of some kid fielding it, holding it, throwing it, and the other kid catching it are slim. Just hit the ball, make them play the game, and there's a good chance you're going to get on first base. Don't try to hit a home run. Just hit the damn ball. Shorten your swing. Hit it out there. Same thing is true here. You have to fight. You have to make these people earn it. You have to make them play the game. I am proof. We are proof in Brownsburg. If you beat them, if you defeat them, it sends a message, and then they have to come back to the table, and you can get what we had this time, in which the fear of losing was so great and possible that they cut a deal where the school still got money, the school got creative, they got some money, not as much as they would have got with the referendum, and they did it inside the tax caps. It can be done, but you have to draw a line in the sand. If these referendums, given the actual dollar increases, and given the fact that now at least somewhat they tilt in favor of the taxpayer, that they have to be in a fall election in an even year, if they pass, to quote the great late Bill Paxton, game over, man. Game over. They'll pass all around the state. This is the year. You guys got to get off your backsides and go defeat these referendums. Do you guys have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? HOA won't allow a fence. Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All American Dog Fence. All American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All American Dog Fence, locally owned. Kelly and Jeff, they're the owners. They have 3 dogs themselves. They so believed in the business, they bought it. It used to be Indiana Dog Fence. They loved it. They bought it. Now it's All American Dog Fence. All the All American Dog Fence products are backed up with a lifetime warranty and designed and manufactured right here in the United States. Get a free quote today. All American Dog Fence prides themselves taking care of your furry friend and doing it cheaper than the big guys and with better customer service. Shop local. All American Dog Fence. 317-862-6606. 317-862-6606. Website, allamericandogfence.com. Allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show, and you're going to get an incredible $200 off. $200 off just by saying, hey, heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for sponsoring Rob's show. Tell me about your fabulous product. All American Dog Fence. 317-862-6606. All right, more data on the IEDC. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is bad. So our old pal, Indy Reporter, over on Twitter, at Indy_reporter_. If you're in Indiana, politics, government, he digs on data all day. That's what those guys do over there. And you can give him a follow. We mention him from time to time on the program. He does a lot of digging on documents, on information, etc. So he did some digging. And according to documents that he has posted over there on Twitter at Indy_reporter_, the state of Indiana has spent at least $3.75 million on legal bills alone actively involving the LEAP district. you know, that taxpayer-funded giveaway to the fine people of Lebanon, in which you at this point have probably spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of your hard-earned money for a shadow government operation to put together a deal that gave the farm away to Facebook and Lilly. According to Indy Reporter's documents, which you can see for yourself, they're posted up on Twitter, on legal bills alone, the IEDC has spent $3.75 million for the Leap District. Your tax money went to pay a bunch of attorneys to put together a deal for a bunch of giveaways to Meta and Lilly with no tangible benefit to you in terms of return on investment as a state taxpayer. People of Lebanon might make out okay. According to what Indy Reporter wrote, the IEDC's contract for legal work tied to LEAP land acquisition in Boone County has been amended multiple times. The contract now totals $3,744,257.56. Here's the legal bills by year, according to Indy Reporter. And he's got the documents posted if you want to see them for yourself. 2022, $120,000. 2023, it ballooned to $1.88 million. The LEAP District legal bills went from $120,000 in year one to $1.88 million in year two, $1,303,796 in 2024, then moving downward, $403,585 in 2025, and just $36,876 through the first part of 2026. According to Indy Reporter, according to the contract, the work is for, quote, legal consulting services for the IEDC's Project LEAP on land acquisition efforts in Boone County. So this is tied, according to Indy Reporter, just for strong-arming people out of their land. And we've done those interviews over the years of the farmers and the way these people have been approached and what was put in front of them. And you spent in legal bills alone, according to Indy Reporter, $3.75 million. That's nearly $3.75 million in legal fees for one law firm on one portion of the LEAP project. We are going to look back at, Michael Hicks laid this out yesterday, Ball State economist, about the IEDC and the drastic, terrible, unexplainable change that it took under Holcomb about midway through his first term and what it has done. And we're going to look back on this. And when you see the fact that they're still buying, spending $250,000 on suites to a racing event, when you see that they're still giving these huge incentives away to data centers, you see that nothing has really changed with the IEDC. For nearing a decade now, this shadow quasi-government entity that doesn't play by the same rules as other government entities has done something that I think a decade and a half from now, we're going to look back on as the catalyst for the death of Indiana as we knew it. For those of us who are Hoosier lifers, what we came to know Indiana as, what it represented, how it looked, how it felt. The actions taken by the IEDC have been the turbocharge to the end of that. This is gross. Good digging by Indy Reporter. Hey guys, have you guys found your next home but not sure you're ready to sell your current one yet? Not able to sell your current one yet? One of the biggest challenges homeowners face is coordinating the sale of their current home with the purchase of their next one. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps Central Indiana families explore bridge loan and home equity solutions that may provide flexibility during the transition. Whether you're moving up, you're downsizing, or you need to access your home's equity, Gary takes the time to understand your goals and walk you through your options. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more. Loansbygary.homes to learn more. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 179207, equal housing lender. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, incredible reporting from the Indy Star on, and this is going to shock you, it doesn't appear Joe Hogsett kept his word on something. We'll tell you what they found out when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
DC politicians don't care. Buying stocks with insider information, they get filthy rich. But if you did it, you'd get locked up. Thankfully, there's one fighter on our side. Senator Todd Young is pushing to ban all congressional stock trading forever. He's never traded a single stock while in Congress. Young's a Marine who does the right thing. Contact Senator Todd Young. Thank him for standing up for us and for fighting to ban congressional stock trading.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. You know, speaking of Wednesday, that means it's Boneless Wing Day. No, not Boneless Wing Day. Jumbo Wing Day. It's Jumbo Wing Day at home. Man, you guys try talking for 3 hours a day. It is Jumbo Wing Day. Our old friends, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. Of course, Tina, Dennis, Garrett, they're the owners of Double D's in Clayton. They're huge fans of our show, huge supporters, love what we do here. Been with us many, many months now, and you guys have been awesome customers. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. They do barbecue the right way. Authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. They've been the winners of Best Ribs and Best Sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County. All you guys have been out there just said out collectively how awesome it is. The food, outstanding. The service, great. The decorum, awesome. The decor. Man, I'm having a day of it. Point is, our guys at Double D's, you don't even need me to tell you anymore. They're open Wednesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. All the food made from scratch, made by hand each day. So once they're sold out, they're sold out. So make sure you get there early. Double D's Barbecue right there on 40 in Clayton, 40 and 39. Little bit of a trip, totally worth the drive. Ribs, brisket, and more. See the full menu at ddbbq317.com. And the special today, the Jumbo Wing Day at Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. Okay. Fabulous journalisming from the Indy Star this morning. And speaking of the Indy Star, I've got a column out. It's my understanding it's coming out Friday about the amount of money Braun is spending on the subsidized daycare while raising taxes by $1 billion because they said there was no money to fund the government and then not giving you any of the tax increase back. So that is coming out Friday, I was told. It's been written. It's been approved. I think it's coming out on Friday. All right, so from the Indy Star, And it is another example of just what a complete piece of crap Joe Hogsett is, and just how just ridiculous his administration has become. And it's about how Hogsett has taken full advantage of the perks of the office of being mayor despite his pledge not to. Here's what the Star wrote. Despite making a campaign vow to, quote, renounce all perks of the office if he was elected mayor, Hogsett and his family have been frequent attendees of Pacers and Colts games and other events in the suites at Lucas Oil at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. He's also driven around town recently in a lone Indianapolis 500-themed Corvette. Do you guys remember seeing this? The Corvette thing, to just get off for a second? So there's this video that surfaced, and at first I thought, there's no way it could be real. I thought it's got to be AI. It's got to be manufactured. It's Hogsett coming out of a liquor store with a brown paper bag, and he gets in to this Indianapolis 500-themed Corvette. And I asked people, I was like, is this real? And multiple people who are like in city government, around city government, said, we think it's real. Like, the thing writes itself, right? Hogsett coming out of a liquor store with a brown paper bag, and he gets into an Indianapolis 500-themed Corvette. Star goes on to write, the suites, controlled by the mayor's office, and provided to the city as part of the facilities operating agreements. So remember, these entities, these stadiums are heavily backed by taxpayer money. The Colts, the Pacers, Lucas Oil, Gainbridge, huge taxpayer investments. And as part of our taxpayer investment, or as we like to call it here, the facilities operating agreement, the mayor's office gets a suite. The city government gets a suite controlled by the mayor's office. Star goes on to write, they're intended to be used by city officials and employees for city business, according to the mayor's office. What city business are you doing at a Colts game? Hey, I'm going to need to stop these negotiations for this next economic development deal or this plan to fix the sewer on so-and-so street because, hey, it's 4th and goal and we got to see if they score. Really? What city business is actually going on? At times, they've been used for charitable purposes, such as providing tickets to local nonprofits and auction winners. Over the past 18 months alone, the Star writes, major campaign donors who've each given at least $5,000 to the mayor have used the suites on at least 20 occasions to take in Pacers, Fever, Colts games, and other events at the venues, according to a list of suite attendees requested from the city. Emily Gurwitz, we've heard her name recently. Remember, she is the woman who allegedly took the wish list from campaign donors to City Hall to get city contracts. Emily Gurwitz, the Star writes, the mayor's top campaign fundraiser, who has no formal role in city government, is recorded as going to 7 games and events during that time frame. Now, you'd have to ask yourself, if the deal was it's intended to be used by city officials and employees for city business, then what business would the mayor's top fundraiser, who has no formal role in City Hall, why is she going to the games? In at least 2 cases, donations of thousands of dollars to the mayor were recorded within days of donors' attendance at a game or event in one of the suites. Campaign finance reports show that the mayor's campaign has paid for food and beverage in Gainbridge Suite. Hogsett's current spokesperson, Emily Kaufman, later acknowledged the campaign has paid for food, quote, on rare occasions. Quote, unrelated to city business, elected officials, friends of the mayor, and city partners will sometimes request tickets to games or special events, said one spokesman. If there are tickets available, these requests are sometimes granted. Okay. I mean, they're brazen about it, guys. Like, they don't even try to hide it anymore. They don't care if they get caught because they believe nothing will ever happen to them. And clearly, the people of Indianapolis aren't interested in any sort of accountability coming from the mayor's office because they keep voting for this idiot. No matter what he does. Takes the side of the criminals, they vote for him. Goes against the police, they vote for him. Disappears during the riots as the city burns and people die, they vote for him. Gets beat up by his trash can, they vote for him. Shows up at an event, slurring his words, saying bizarre stuff, they vote for him. Runs Indianapolis into the ground, they vote for him. No matter what this guy does, the people of Indianapolis just roll over and play dead and say, give me some more of it. And the business community never stands up to him. So the logical question is, why wouldn't he do this? This is nothing. Compared to all the stuff he's actually done, this is nothing. Here's how professional dirtball Thomas Carl Cook, those were my words, not the stars, described a party-like atmosphere in 2018 after Infosys made a major economic development deal with the city. All hell broke loose. Cook texted a fellow Indianapolis Democrat the next day, recounting the scene in the suite where a Hogset jersey hung prominently on the wall. Quote, there was a lot of booze. No kidding. A place where a Hogset jersey hangs on the wall. There was a lot of booze. You don't say. There was a lot of booze. I had to explain the situation to the Pacers and close the door. Watching entitled Rich Men do whatever they want is amazing. That's from 2018, guys. That was back in the good old days. I can assure you, things haven't gotten any better with the city. There was a lot of booze. That's in the official city suite. There was a lot of booze. Watching entitled rich men do whatever they want is amazing. That's in the city's official suite. Hoggs has said he's refused memberships in country clubs or, quote, other exclusive private clubs, and that he'd only accept gifts given to the city, quote, in accordance with law and only to the extent that they directly promote the interests of the city. Since January 25 alone, however, the mayor and his son are listed in city attendance records as having gone to about a dozen events in the suites, including the WWE's Royal Rumble and the Shaka Khan concert. Now, I'd love to know from the mayor what the Shaka Khan concert had to do that they directly promoted the interest of the city. Shaka Khan's already here, already playing, already gotten all the economic development benefit you're going to get. Same thing with the WWE Royal Rumble. The mayor's office and his attendance is not always tracked due to security measures inside the venues. What do you mean it's not always because of security measures? How would me, knowing that he's gone to an event after he's gone, put his security at risk? What possible planet would me knowing, or the public knowing, or the media knowing that a mayor has gone to an event afterwards have to do with his security? Listen to this about the giveaways to donors. One person who donated $619,000 to Hogshead over the last decade attended the second night of the Taylor Swift show in the city suite. Several of his family members, including his grandchildren and daughter-in-law, helped fill out the suite the other nights. So again, I'll come back to what the rules of the suite were. They're intended to be used by city officials and city employees for city business. Well, what possible city business did a person who gave the mayor $619,000 to Hogsett attending this Taylor Swift do? What did that have to do with city business? Or, okay, let's just say that person did have some city business. Family members, including grandchildren, daughter-in-law, what city business did they have? Yet another woman who donated more than $63,000 to Hogsett's campaign also took in Swift's performance from the suite. So did Gerwitz, two other donors, and the mayor's daughter. Again, what city business would Gerwitz, who has no job with the city, no official title with the city, what business did she have? Taking into account all three nights, according to the Star, more campaign donors and their family members made use of the seats than did city staffers. Again, if the role of the suite is to conduct official city business, then why are more donors and family members using the suite than city people, city staffers? Democratic mega donor Ann Stack, according to the Star, hosted an event in the city suite when former First Lady Michelle Obama spoke at Gainbridge back in 2018. In an invitation to guests, Stack, who's given about $28,000 to Hogsett, referred to, quote, our mayor's premier suite as, quote, dreamy with unobstructed views of the stage. Well, how nice. How nice the taxpayers could make that happen. This is great. Asked about the event, a Hogsett spokesperson said, quote, Stack was invited to host the suite for this event because of her role as a community leader dedicated to uplifting women and their causes in our city. What city business was that? And the fact that she gave $28,000 to Hogsett, probably just to... Look, I go back to, and I know I've used this story many times over the years here and on the radio show, but it's true. I have a very good friend who was in state government for years, not an elected person, but an employee of state government, and now is gone from state government. And this person told me a couple of years ago, he said, Rob, you don't understand. COVID taught these people they could get away with anything. And he was talking about government at all levels. The politicians realized when we shut down society, we forced people to do pointless, stupid stuff. We took their jobs. We took their businesses. We closed everything down. We ruined years of people's lives, and they didn't fight back. They realized this other stuff we do is nothing. If they're not going to fight back for the big stuff, why would we possibly believe they would give a damn about little stuff like lying to them about, in this case, using the suite as giveaways, as paybacks, as thank yous to donors? Sure, he said it. The truth means nothing. I mean, let's go back to yesterday. Let's go back to our main topic yesterday, which was the Max Engling donation. The dark money group that gave to Max Engling that clearly, based on the fact that they gave it back or claim they gave it back, they have admitted they're not allowed to accept. And them trying to claim, well, we didn't know about them. We didn't know what to label them. We didn't know what they were labeled. We didn't know we couldn't accept it. And then between what I found yesterday, where just 11 days before Max Engling was labeled as a special guest at their event at the Republican convention in Fort Wayne, along with Jim Banks, his boss, and the fact that David Shelton found posts from Max Engling dating back a year ago where he's talking about this group and their event and labeling what they are, which is a 501c4, whatever their actual status was. 501c4, I think that's what it's called. 501c. Anyway, doesn't matter. He was labeling what it was. He knew exactly what it was. 501c4, I think is what it is. But he was labeling exactly what it is. It doesn't matter. A year ago, telling people to go to their events. Does anybody believe Max Engling didn't know what that group was? No, of course not. But what will the punishment be? Yesterday, there was a person responding on my social media at Rob M. Kendall. If you'd like to play along, I'm also on Facebook, Rob Kendall. By the way, don't be offended if I don't accept your friend request. I've set my Facebook page. Facebook only allows you to have a certain amount of friends. I think it's 5,000. And I'm at that max. I set my page up to be public, because I want public to be able to engage, to see, so you can follow. Don't be mad if I don't accept your friend request. It's not you. It's not personal. There's like thousands of people in the queue. And I just wait till I offend someone and they drop off, and then I accept somebody else. But I posted yesterday this flyer from this event, from this Hoosier Leadership for America, in which they said 11 days before they gave him $60,000, Max Engling is our special guest at the Republican State Convention. And I posted a little commentary on it, because obviously we spent the show on it yesterday. And there was some woman who got on there and said something to the effect of, good job, Rob, you're going to give the election to the liberals. Well, first of all, I'm honored that even though some people think this is just a goofy little podcast, kind of goofy, don't really understand what you're doing. Well, I don't understand what you guys are doing either. So all things being equal, right? That we're still powerful enough to sway the election. I'm honored. But then my response to her was, so the Republicans supposed to be able to do whatever they want, including not follow the rules, including not follow the law. And I'm supposed to ignore it because it might, give the election to a Democrat if me pointing out how this guy didn't follow the rules or follow the law is going to give the election to the liberals, then what does that say about the candidate to begin with? But second of all, so we have to ignore everything the Republicans do because it might give the election to the Democrats. That's the new standard. And then this person starts getting into it with other people and basically says, yes, they don't care what the Republican does because it's small potatoes compared to what the Democrats are going to do. And I'm reading this just going, you've got to be kidding me. But that's where we're at in our society. It's a mixture of apathy, from overall apathy, people not wanting to engage, not wanting to be involved for a variety of reasons. And then of the people who do engage and involve, their team winning is more important than holding anyone accountable. And that's, I think, what you see here with Joe Hogsett and what my friend who served in state government for years told me. The politicians figured out people don't give a damn about their own life. They don't care about holding us accountable. They're too busy screwing around on the internet or whatever. And we'll just do whatever we want to do because nobody clearly cares. And when you couple that with the people who do care, who are engaged, it's all about their team winning. Blue no matter who, red no matter what. And so these people just do whatever they want. Joe Hogsett doesn't care what he told you. He doesn't care about the pledges that he made. What are you going to do about it? You're going to shut up and vote for him again if you're in Indianapolis. That's what he thinks you're going to do about it. Briggs and I disagree. Briggs may end up being right. I think he's going to run for mayor again, and I think if he does, I think he'll win. That's what this city is now. And it's on the other side, it's what the Republicans are now. Blue no matter who, red no matter what, of the people that are involved, and most of the people don't give a damn enough to make a difference. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we warned you about Texas, guys. I warned you that the Republicans, thanks to Trump, were going to put that idiot on the ballot to run for Senate in Texas and give away that seat. And new polling, give some credence to what I said. The Republicans and Democrats are both dead set on snatching defeat from the jaws of victory this fall. It is amazing to me. We'll talk about it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
In Congress, I get all sorts of insider stock tips. Sure, I cashed in. It's my Beltway bonus. But now here comes Senator Todd Young with his total ban on congressional stock trades.
Freaking Mr. Clean Marine. Todd Young's got real guts taking us on. Young's gonna cost me millions.
Had enough of this? Contact Senator Todd Young to say thanks and let him know that you stand with his plan to ban stock trading for all members of Congress.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, hit that little thumbs up button, like the feed, like the show on YouTube. You watch us live, you watch us on demand. If you're on those on-demand platforms, which we love, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, thank you to all of you folks over there. Give us that 5-star review. Really helps us grow the program. We got some big stuff that we are optimistic is on the horizon for this show. We're nearing that time where we can start to do some other things that has been off limits to us, and now we're getting closer to that. And so we want to thank you guys for helping us grow this program, expand this program. You've got the attention of a lot of people, and we're excited for what's to come in the near future, hopefully, here on the Rob Kendall Show. Help us continue to grow. Hit that little thumbs up button. It really does work. It really does help us out. Thank you. You guys are amazing. All right, as we said before, we're gonna get to Texas here in a moment because they're about to give away Texas. It's unbelievable. But before we do that, special week at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. On the water, in the woods, great atmosphere, great food. We love the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in beautiful Brazil. It's a special week, though. You guys know, one week out of the month, they are open for lunch on Fridays. Normally, it's Friday dinner, Saturday dinner, Sunday brunch buffet. This is the week. It's the Friday week. They're open for lunch as well. So you got lunch Friday, dinner Saturday, brunch on Sunday. And what an incredible list of specials this week. They include Dad's Old Roast Beef, old-fashioned oatmeal cake. It's the only time it's going to be served at all this year. It's the favorite of Andy, one of the owners. He makes it himself. He loves it. He does it once a year. And Toll House Pie. All the specials this week. You want to see the full menu? All you got to do, just very easy, just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You're going to be blown away. The food's amazing. The atmosphere is great. On the water, chance to get away, chance to relax. Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro to get the full menu. Visit their website. Reservations are preferred. 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. All right, so Texas. Republicans just never learn lessons, right? And that's one of the amazing things to me is that no matter how many times they go through stuff, they're like, nope. Doesn't matter to us. We're not going to learn anything. And one of the things going back to 2010, let's go back to 2010 because this is the first time we saw it on display. You guys remember 2010? Everybody's pissed off about Obamacare. It's a huge Republican year setting up. Okay, hey, Republicans are going to take it home. And in the House of Representatives, they were very successful. They won, I think, 62 seats in the House. But they failed miserably in the Senate. They failed to take the Senate. And one of the major reasons was they lost some very winnable races because of the people they nominated. The reality is, in a Senate race, you have to find candidates who fit your state. I mean, that's just the harsh reality of the world we live in. All the states are different. They all have different makeups. And what that means is a statewide candidate that might be able to win in, say, Alabama or Mississippi or even Indiana is not a candidate that necessarily can win in New Hampshire or a Maine or Connecticut. There was a period there, 2010 was one of the years where Connecticut was in play. I don't think Connecticut's in play anymore. But remember, 2010 is a great example of this. Who'd they nominate? Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon was the nominee for U.S. Senate. And people are like, is this a joke? Yeah, we don't like Obama, but look at the scandal-ridden life the McMahons have led. No, thanks. And you guys know I love the wrestling. But Linda McMahon was not going to win in Connecticut, and she lost. And there were a whole bunch of other states where the Republicans had winnable seats, but they didn't nominate candidates that fit the state, and they lost. You have to meet voters where they are. And this brings us to Texas, and this is part of why the Democrats are potentially going to blow taking control of the government this fall. There's a good chance. I think they'll get the House. I don't think they're going to get the Senate, and that will be blowing it because the Republicans should get torpedoed this fall, how they've governed and how the people are viewing them in polling, but the Democrats aren't willing to do it. I saw a poll yesterday, before we get to Texas. I'm going to give you an example of this on the other side. Michigan has this super contested Democrat Senate primary. The incumbent Democrat senator is retiring. Mike Rogers, who is a congressman, or was a congressman, who almost won the Senate seat in 24, is running again for the Republicans. They already have their guy, and he's a pretty mainstream Republican. The Democrats have a contested race against a sort of more moderate Democrat congresswoman and this lunatic leftist named El Said. Now, El Said, I believe he's like a former county health commissioner. He's backed up by Bernie Sanders and AOC. And this race is very close, at least according to the polling. And there was a poll that came out that showed if Rogers runs against this moderate, more moderate Democrat congresswoman, it's a pick'em race. It's like 45-45 or something like that. 46-45, the Democrat woman may have a lead. It's negligible. But if they pick El Said, who right now I believe is still winning in the polling, I think the race is close, but he's winning. Rogers wins by like 10 points. Like, it's over. If the Democrats pick this El Said nutbag, the Republicans will steal a seat. In the year which everyone hates the Republicans could actually pick up a seat in a swing state because of who the Democrats pick. The Democrats of today are the Republicans of 2010, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. But that brings us to Texas on the other side of the aisle, in which the Republicans may give away the seat they've gained. And I told you guys this leading up to the primary election and that runoff election. I said Texas is a purple state that votes Republican. It has multiple major urban centers that will vote heavily Democrat. As long as the right Republican is nominated, it'll stay red, but if you give an inch, it will go blue. And so the runoff came down to Cornyn, who's the incumbent, against the current Attorney General, Ken Paxton. And it came out about all of this stuff about Ken Paxton. And he was impeached by his own party in the state government. He had multiple scandals, numerous scandals. I mean, the guy is a scumbag. And yet, for some unknown reason, Trump endorsed Paxton. And yet, Cornyn's been there forever. I'm not telling people go out and vote for Cornyn. But it was very clear in the makeup of Texas, Cornyn doesn't bring you any scandal. He doesn't bring you any drama. You allow the state's natural tilt to work in your favor. And the state's natural tilt, while not a red state, is to vote Republican. And Cornyn probably would have eked out another 2-3 point victory over the Democrat nominee, James Tallarico. Tallarico is a state rep in Texas. But the moment they picked Paxton, because of Trump's endorsement, I said, I think that state's going blue. Doesn't mean it's going to, but I think because of how skeezy Paxton is and the ads that the Democrats will be able to run against this guy who is a known quantity scumbag, there's a real chance if you don't allow the state's natural tilt and you embolden the urban areas to turn out and vote, the state will go blue. Which brings us to the newest Texas Public Opinion Research Survey, which was posted in the Texas Tribune on Tuesday. And it found that Tallarico had a 5-point lead among likely voters. And that is a key. Likely voters is what you always look for in a poll. Not registered voters. You can do a poll with registered voters. That's okay. But usually the most accurate polling you get is among likely voters because those are the people who are going to show up. 45% of respondents in the poll backed Tallarico, compared to 40% who supported the Republican. Neither candidate has broken 50% in any public polling. Think about that. It's a state that, all things being equal, almost always votes Republican. There are almost no Democrats left in statewide office. And the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate can't break 40%. There's really bad news on the internals of the poll, too. The survey found that Tallarico leads Paxson among voters without a college degree. Now, most of you guys know that is a demographic that normally heavily favors Republicans, and he's losing. Of the poll's respondents, the other reason it's bad news, 53% of the poll's respondents voted for Trump in 2024, 42% for Kamala. So amongst respondents in which 53% of the people voted for Trump, Paxson only has 40% of the vote. That's pathetic. And the Republicans in Texas, just like the Democrats in Michigan, are about to do this to themselves. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Not meeting your voters where they are. It doesn't mean you have to be a liberal. It means you can't be a lunatic. It means you can't be a scumbag. Like in the case of Michigan, Michigan clearly votes Democrat all the time. Trump's one of the few guys who's been able to crack the code there. Other than that, the state mostly goes blue. If it's El Said, it's going red because he's a maniac. The Democrats are like, sign us up for that. In Texas, it's a state that tilts Republican, repeatedly votes Republican. But you can't put a sleaze bucket out there and expect. I mean, the guy was impeached by his own party. You can't expect that people are going to go along with that, especially with the media covering the guy nonstop. And by the way, Kim Paxson comes off as like the most unlikable person imaginable. These states, these parties in these states are just, I don't understand it. It doesn't mean you have to give into your core principles. It doesn't mean you have to give into your core belief systems. You could have nominated someone more conservative than Cornyn, or finally fire Cornyn, which is fine. You know me, I'm all for the term limits. That wasn't Ken Paxton. The choice in the state of all the people in Texas was not John Cornyn or Ken Paxton. You guys made it that way. And the same thing with the Democrats. In Michigan, you could find a liberal who's normal, who's not a complete maniac. The liberals are like, nope, it's El Said or bust, baby. Again, Bernie Sanders with the endorsement, just like the Plattner guy in Maine. Got to meet your people where they're at. Speaking of meeting people where they're at, that's what our guy, Anthony Gary, loves to do with Indy Dwell Real Estate. And he doesn't just show houses. He finds you homes with everything you're looking for. Homes that work for you. That's the key. Explains your options. Gets your offer accepted without you losing sleep or sanity. Anthony's an expert negotiator. He can help you achieve your real estate goals. That is what he wants to do, to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put Anthony's expert buying strategy and experience to work for you. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159, 317-756-1159. All right, hour 3 is upon us. Brought to you by John Rust, which reminds me to remind you, big event coming up October the 3rd. This fabulous third hour is brought to you by John Rust, and he's throwing a party for you as well. October the 3rd, big party. All the listeners, all the viewers of the Rob Kendall Show, you are invited. Here's what we got. It's a celebration of America's 250th birthday. By the way, party at John Rust's palatial estate in Seymour. Patriotic music, antique car show, lunch catered by Double D's. I'm going to give a little speech on how great the country is and a whole bunch more. Also, Jason's birthday cake. No charge to attend whatsoever. You come, you have a good time, you hang out, and Oktoberfest in Seymour is going on down there as well. Event starts at noon, so you can head over to that afterwards. Come hang out with us. Come have some fun. Come hang out with other listeners, viewers of the Rob Kendall Show. All you got to do for that free lunch. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, Double D's is catering, and you ain't got to pay. So I don't know if an economist would say that's technically a free lunch, but it's close enough. Just send an email. rustforamerica@gmail.com. rustforamerica@gmail.com. All you got to do is tell John, here's my name. Here's how many people I'm bringing with me. Bam. You're in. All right. We'll take our final break. We got a whole bunch to get to in hour 3, including, I like this, the governor of Kentucky is getting fired up about demanding proof that Mitch McConnell is alive. Plus, a very interesting article from James Briggs in the Indy Star about the changing of our society, about the changing of Indiana, and who and what is to blame for that. Plus, Jason will be here. Best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We'll take a break. We'll be back. An hour to go. It's the Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show, Hour 3 upon us, brought to you by John Russ. Thank you, John. John has been just a super supporter of our show. People all the time say, hey, I saw your billboard the other day. Yeah. John has been just 100% behind us, and wherever we go and whatever we do, it's going to be thanks in part to his incredible generosity. So thanks, John Russ. Make sure you join us October the 3rd. Big celebration, chance for you to thank John in person. He has just given and given, and he's never asked anything through any of it. And I can't thank him enough. All right. Okay. So this is wild. I'm team governor of Kentucky on this. And I get that he's a Democrat. I don't care. He's absolutely right. From NBC News, the governor of Kentucky is calling on Mitch McConnell to prove he's a functioning human or quit. Andy Beshear is the name of the governor of Kentucky, and he is absolutely right. This is ridiculous. I think June the 14th was when Mitch McConnell disappeared. That's a month and a half ago. A United States senator has not publicly been seen or heard from other than that one photo in a month and a half. That's unacceptable. I don't care what party he is. I don't care what his political beliefs are. Unbelievable. A month and a half. And the taxpayers, and we all have a vested interest in this because we all are affected by what Mitch McConnell does. He's a U.S. senator. He's one of 100. We all pay his salary. He's gone. He's just disappeared. And Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, has said, I've had enough. According to NBC News, the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, is giving Mitch McConnell an ultimatum, demanding that he prove that he's still capable of serving in the U.S. Senate or resign. Bingo. Quote, as governor of the state you serve, I am calling on you to directly and verbally address the people of Kentucky and provide proof of your capacity to serve or resign, Beshear wrote in a letter to McConnell. Look, if Mitch McConnell has some serious health problems, which he clearly does, we've seen him play out over the last several years, I'm sorry. Getting old is something that happens to all of us. I look in the mirror every day and say to myself, it's coming. It's coming. It happens to all of us. We all get the joys of being young, and then we find joys in being old, but aging is a part of life. And you can't do the stuff at 84, which I think is what Mitch McConnell is, that you could do at 44 or 24. Can't do the stuff at 44 you could do at 24. But regardless, he can't do the job. You can't be in a position of that. Look, not to in any way undermine or besmirch someone who's a greeter at Walmart. A U.S. senator is not being a greeter to Walmart. You have 350 million people who are counting on you to do your job. You can't disappear for a month and a half. And there still is no indication on when he's going to return. I said the other day on this program, if I were Andy Beshear, I would tell, I think it was last week. I think I said it on Friday. I said, if I were Andy Beshear, I would have sent a letter on Friday, said, I am giving you until into business Monday to prove you're alive and you can think for yourself and speak for yourself, or I'm declaring you dead. And it's ridiculous. It's a month and a half. It's not unreasonable to prove not only you're alive, but you're a functioning human. Like you guys in your daily life prove to people every day you're a functioning human. A U.S. senator should also be bound to that standard. Failing that, Beshear, a Democrat, said he'll call on Senate Majority Leader John Thune to, quote, investigate McConnell's condition and, quote, begin the process, if warranted, of replacing him in the Senate. Beshear wrote a separate letter to Thune. It has now been 43 days since news of your hospitalization, Beshear wrote to McConnell. During that time, you have cast 0 votes, engaged in no official activities, and aside from 2 photos and corresponding statements, have made no effort to communicate with your Kentucky constituents or the nation. Even the attending physician's written statement does not discuss your actual condition, including whether you can speak, reason, or carry out your duties as a senator. Bingo. This is pathetic. It's ridiculous. Nobody knows where this guy is or if he's alive, or if he is alive, what his condition is. He's a U.S. senator. And clearly, the guy has no shame. Because if he had any scruples about him, because we keep hearing from these people who've talked to him on the phone. Show the public what you'll tell the people on the phone. Hi, I'm here. I'll be back next week. Hi, I'm here. Look at me walk around a room. I'll accept anything at this point. Can you walk around a room? Can you read Green Eggs and Ham? Sam, I am. I am Sam. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. The reason I chose Green Eggs and Ham, I have to read that book 9 times a day now. All I hear from my kid when she gets home from daycare, eggs and ham, eggs and ham, eggs and ham. Libby, it's the 9th time we've read it today. The story's always the same. He does not like them, Sam, I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Eggs and ham, eggs and ham. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? This is ridiculous. Asked to comment on Beshear's calls to investigate McConnell's condition, Thune said Tuesday it's not his issue to resolve. What? You're the leader of the United States Senate. You have a guy in your own party who's gone missing, and you're like, that's not my deal to worry about. Quote, I've seen that letter, but in any event, I think that's an issue really that's between Senator McConnell and the people of Kentucky. No, it's not. The people of Kentucky can't do anything about it. You, sir, can do something about it. I mean, if the governor wants to, I'm not sure what his prerogatives are in that case, but that's where the issue should be resolved. What sort of statement is that? Don't you find it weird that none of these senators in like a group have been like, we're going to the hospital to see our friend Mitch McConnell? Don't you find that strange that not a single Republican in the Senate, or really Democrat for that matter, don't they know where he's being housed? Don't they know where he's supposedly receiving care? That nobody's like, I'm walking over there. Here's me walking to the hospital. Here's us going to see our old pal Mitch. I mean, Collins, Murkowski, they're buddies with him. Don't you find that odd that not a single Republican in the Senate has gone over there? Here's me with my boy. But on the other side, not a single Democrat's tried to do it either. A U.S. senator is missing, and nobody cares in the Senate. Nobody's doing anything about it. Andy Beshear should declare Mitch McConnell dead and declare a special election. That would at least force Mitch McConnell to prove he's alive. It would at least get it into the court system. Andy Beshear should not wait till August 3rd. He should declare him dead and force McConnell to prove otherwise. That's where we're at. But that's our government. And really, it's about something much more than just bad governance. It's about a complete disrespect for you. A complete disrespect of you. They don't believe you have any right to representation. They don't believe you have any right to know if your U.S. senator is even alive. We'll do what we want, and you'll shut up and you'll pay. It's the way it works. We've created this system, and there's no stopping it now. You don't even get to know if someone's alive. Hey, you guys, got a masonry color mismatch? Previous repair catching your eye? Not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior. You want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com. Beauty built to endure. All right, one other thing, and then we're going to bring Jason in for the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. James Briggs had an interesting article in the Indy Star. And Briggs was talking about the eroding of society and why it is the decline of our institutions as a collective, much more so than immigration, that has played a role in that decline. Because, look, we preface this segment by saying this. Illegal immigration is a serious issue. There's no doubt. I mean, there was a mass, wholesale illegal immigration, tens of millions of people, we don't even probably know the number, flooding into our society, into our country illegally under Joe Biden. It's a huge issue. And those people should be extracted from this country as fast as possible. I mean, 15, 20 million, whatever the number is. Any person who broke the law to be here should be removed. Either you have a country or you don't. Trump said that in one of the original Republican primary debates in 2015. He's right 100%. You have a country, you don't. You have a country, you have borders, you have laws, you have rules. I don't care whether you're a non-violent offender or not. You broke the law to get here, you got to leave. So I want to preface by saying what Briggs wrote, I think there's some merit to. I also want to say, though, that illegal immigration is a real problem. It is a real issue, but it's not the only issue. And we have seen the decay of American society And there are many factors that play into it, and I think he touched on some good stuff here. In the column, he references economics writer Noah Smith. And Noah Smith recently described the rise and fall of what he says is the Leave It to Beaver era. And here's what he wrote, and it really hits home. The United States used to have a bunch of institutions that bound us together and forged us into a unified society. Many American communities were centered around churches. These facilitated networking, helped people find spouses, provided community services like daycare and mutual aid, and homogenized values and culture at the local level. Look, I've said this to you guys for a while now. One of the major reasons that I have so objected to the irresponsible growth we have seen in our suburban communities here in the past, I mean, really, it's exploded the past 10 years, has been it eliminates the character, the makeup, the identity of these communities. People see the suburbs as a place they live, not a place they engage. The community where I live has zero identity. None. Like, you ask me what Brownsburg is, I can't begin to tell you anymore. It's a bunch of warehouses and high-density single-family houses. That's it. That's all it is anymore. The core of what I grew up with, the identity of the town, the structure of the town, the close-knit, ability of it's gone. It's all gone. Used to have a bunch of neat old buildings that made up downtown, the character, gone. There's a CVS and a Walgreens. And I'm not disputing the value that drugstores have, but you couldn't put them anywhere else. I mean, the idea of the businesses, the local businesses that made up, they're gone. The idea that everybody came to the high school basketball gym on a Friday night and you knew the people you sat next to and you knew the people around you and you looked forward to the kids and the players, it's all gone. It's done. Go to a high school basketball game on a Friday night. There's like 10 people there now. And that's because the irresponsible growth, certainly of the past decade, it was long before that, but the past decade, you don't know your neighbors anymore. You don't engage in other people's lives or invest in other people's lives the way you used to. And that's a big part of what he's writing here. We have lost the connection of community, which tied us into the place and in a way required us to accept the values of communities. Like, you used to know who the troublemakers were in our communities. Like, who are the bad actors? Who are the bad kids? Your parents would tell you, you stay away from so-and-so. Like, you knew that growing up. When somebody would tell you where they lived, what street you lived on, you knew it. What neighborhood, you knew it. And some people were much better off economically than you were. So what? You knew it. Great. They were the rich kids. We laughed at them. You live on so-and-so street. Oh, I know where you live. You give somebody a street now in a town or a city, they don't know unless it's a street they live on. The identity of the communities are gone, and the values that tied you in. You had some semblance of responsibility, of obligation based on the values of the community you lived and you wanting to be a part of that. He goes on to write, again, this is Noah Smith, the economics writer Noah Smith. During the World Wars, and to a lesser extent the Vietnam War, the military was very large and threw together Americans from various social classes. In the early post-war decades, corporations were also a unifying institution. He makes a great point. Every community seemed to have some industry that if you were from there, you took some pride if you worked there. Some plant, some manufacturing oftentimes. Everybody had something in their community that a lot of the people worked at, that the people worked there took pride in. For us in Brownsburg, it was RoArc. Right by the park, right by the railroad track, RoArc. And you'd see all those cars there every day. When you would drive through town or you'd walk through town or you'd go on your bike, and you knew those people that worked there, they took pride in their job. Every community had something like that. And for a lot of those places, those jobs, if you were a good member of the community, if you're a good member of society, you go there and work, you'll work there your whole life. And then it tied you into that community for the remainder of your days, which made you further invest in your community. Mass media provided us with shared cultural context. Even public transit put people of various backgrounds in close social contact on a daily basis. Exactly. You had to engage with people. You worked with people. You saw people. You had to get along with mean cohabitat with people. I think about the job I have now and the job my wife has now. My wife works from home. She works for a very, very large company. She is compensated well, but she never sees another human being. She likes her job. She likes what she does, but she never sees another human being in person. About once a month, she goes on a work trip and she sees some of those people, and then she won't see them again for another month. My job, the last, 6 years of my 5 years of my radio, it was a ghost town. I might see 10 people a day post-COVID. Maybe legitimately see 10 people. I engaged with 4 or 5 of them on a daily basis. Our job we have now, I love this job. I love this show. I see Jason. That's it.
That's all you need.
I mean, my daily routine, like I was thinking about this because I knew I was going to do this segment. My social interaction, Jason, my wife, my daughter, my dad, who's my neighbor, my mom, I see her quite a bit. And then if I stop for lunch somewhere, the person that I order my food from. That's it. Like, that's my social interaction on most days. And it goes back to that conversation Ben Verbanek and I were having. Of course, Ben Verbanek's the news guy out in Terre Haute, WTHI television. We were talking about this over the weekend. He's a young guy. He's still in his 20s. And we were talking about how people his age don't interact with people. Like how hard it is to meet people now because his generation, the government, society devalued human interaction because of COVID. They told you human interaction didn't matter anymore, and his generation bought into it. Again, another thing that used to family program. Another thing that used to bind us together was you were forced to, if you wanted to do, hell, your groceries, you don't have to see people anymore. Deliver to your house, your food delivered to your house. All the things you used to have to do, you don't do anymore. There's no forced social interaction that required us to be able to cohabitate. Noah Smith goes on to write, in the half century from around 1970 to 2020, those unifying institutions became much weaker. Church attendance slowly declined and then fell off the cliff in the 2010s. The military shrank into small, professionalized volunteer force. Corporations ended their brief flirtation with lifetime employment and outsourced many of their roles. Mass media fragmented in the age of the internet. Public transit dwindled in importance as Americans moved to the suburbs and drove. He's right. All of these things that, without us realizing it, bound us into communities, bound us into neighborhoods, forced us into assimilation, are gone. They've been replaced through technology. And while illegal immigration is a big deal, it's not the only deal, and it's probably not the biggest deal as it relates to the death of the America many of us once knew and loved. Briggs then, taking the writing from Noah Smith, goes on to write, my grandfather's lifestyle didn't go extinct over immigration. Most obvious through line is technological change and the choices we made about how to absorb it. Advanced weaponry reduced needs for soldiers, automation reduced the need for workers, and the internet splintered our shared reality. Bingo. It's one of these things where two things can be true. We can recognize that decisions made about who we've let into the country and the scale and volume to which we have let them into the country has dramatically changed our society. Go to the Walmart. You tell me if what you see at the Walmart today looks anything like your local Walmart looked 10 years ago. I went to Walmart the other day. I encountered 4 employees none of them were speaking English. None of them. How would I even communicate with those people if I had a problem? If I had a question? These are workers being hired in by corporations. These people are clearly not assimilating. They may be here legally, they're not assimilating. Well, you're right, Jason. Jason just said the government, society views now that I'm supposed to assimilate with them. You're right. Those people are not tying into the fabric of society, I can assure you. And that's what made our communities special. That's what made our communities great. And it's gone. It's over. I mean, I've stopped going. You guys know for years I was so passionate about local government, going to those meetings and trying to have a voice even long after I was involved, because there's just no point anymore. It's over. My town is cooked. Your town is probably cooked. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't stop it. You can't even contain it. And the biggest part of a lot of this with these communities is the people making the choices, they're not from around there. They didn't grow up there. They don't have a point of reference of what it was like there. It's just a place they chose to live, and they are making the thing as they want it to be for their comforts, rather than paying tribute, paying respect to, holding on to the things that made the places that people want to live. All right, and with that, I'm done for today. It's time for us to turn the program over to you, our very fabulous, amazing listeners. We end our program each day making you the star. Producer Jason reads the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Couple of reminders. All you have to do in order to be a chatter, to join hundreds of other Rob Kendall Show fans, is subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't done so, feel free to do that. And we look for comments about the topics we've talked about to keep those conversations going. Jason, hello.
Hello, Roberto. This chat brought to you, as always, by Black Sheep Plumbing. Thank you, John McKinney, for that. If your water heater, water softener, well pump goes dry, even if your toilet stops working, could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Owner John McKinney, he's a Hoosier lifer, takes great pride, stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee. Water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. All right, give John a call or text 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558, Black Sheep Plumbing.
You know, I was thinking about this. I was driving to work today, and I knew I was going to do that topic about Briggs' article in the Star. And just a reminder, I've got a column coming out, I think it's going to be on Friday, about how Braun is spending all of your tax increases.
The one that you waited till the last minute to write, and
instead of giving it back to you. And every day when I go to work, I go past the cemetery in Brownsburg. And obviously that cemetery's been there since I was a kid. And like, I remember as a kid, you can see names from the street. You can see the tombstones, the headstones. And it used to be when I was a kid, like, you knew those names. Like, they were prominent. A lot of the names were their families were prominent families. Like, you knew the people in the cemetery. Not everybody, but a lot of them. And I was thinking, I was driving by today, most people don't know those names anymore. Like, there is no character of this community anymore. There is no, like, reverence to the past of this community anymore. Everybody just, like, lives where they live, and they just go about their business, and I stay out of your way, and you stay out of mine. There's just nothing that bonds anybody together anymore.
Yeah, they ran them all out of Indianapolis, pushed them into Brownsburg, Greenwood, Fishers, and, there they are.
You grew up in Cicero.
Well, I didn't grow up in Cicero. I went to high school.
Well, that's
my high school age was in Cicero.
That's growing up.
That's yeah. I didn't really grow up much there, but yeah, I went to high school up in Arcadia,
and then
Hamilton
you were in Greenwood.
Before
that, right?
Yeah, I was in Greenwood before that, and then as well as after that.
And those were all tiny little towns.
Yeah, Cicero, I'm sure it's still pretty tiny. I don't think there's not a lot of migration headed up toward the Cicero area yet, but once they finish cramming everybody into Noblesville, they will certainly start moving north because there's nowhere else to go. But north and now would be northeast would be where all the barren land is because, of course, you got Westfield and all that they're building up. So they've got that whole northeast part of Hamilton County there all the way up through Tipton that they can tear up.
I remember this. This was 10 years ago. When I was working for Stutzman's Senate campaign, because we had to turn the signatures in. And I can remember driving up to Tipton County, because I took Hamilton County and then Tipton County.
Right.
And I remember driving up to Tipton to turn the signatures in at the Government Center courthouse, or
Right.
courthouse.
Mhm.
And I remember driving that thinking, because it's all that barren farmland, and it was obviously you're starting to get the explosive growth in Southeastern and Noblesville and Fishers.
Right.
And I remember thinking, this is going to become rarer and rarer. And like I remember just taking it and going, this is so special because this is all about to go away. And eventually they will get to here, and all of this will just be part of some bygone era.
Got to put them somewhere. You got 10, 15, 20 million people coming into the country. They got to live somewhere. They're not going to live in the city.
I mean, I lived for a while. One time I lived in a high-density housing development, and I will never do that ever again. HOAs are a ripoff, man.
I'm on the HOA.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
But
Put
on
that
both,
trash can up.
On both sides of us, we had Nigerian families, and they could kind of speak English to you. They didn't to each other, though.
Sure.
And there was like generations of people in these houses.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, these people, like the father or whatever, can speak it because he's probably got to it his job, right? But they're not teaching their kids to do it. They're not assimilating.
Well,
and
the
there's generations
school
of
should be
people.
teaching the kids, but then at home they're talking the.
But the schools don't. They have the
That's true. I haven't been to school in a while.
Oh, they let those kids speak other. IPS has how many different languages? I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
All right. Thomas Ho starts us off today. Well, he didn't start us off, but at some point in the chat, we should do a monthly meetup so Rob will have some company. So Rob can converse with other people instead of the 3-year-old. All right. And I'm not sure who was in first yesterday. I'm thinking, and I'll probably be wrong. Who am I thinking? It was, well, dang it, I'll come to it here in a second. But this morning, I believe, can't be sure, Kenneth Egold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ken?
yeah. But then,
Super fan.
yeah, but then MLM Warriors. Happy Wednesday morning. Today is National Chicken Wing Day, which is observed annually on July 29th.
And it's Wing Day at Double D's Barbecue.
Coincidence?
Perfect day for you to get out to Double D's Barbecue in Clayton.
Also my brother's birthday. I just noticed that when I saw July 29th. I knew that meant something. My brother's birthday. So congratulations, James. I'll have to.
I was going to ask you, Dave or James?
Yep, it's James. All right, Kenneth Egold.
Were your names family names, or how did your parents come up with your names?
How'd they come up? No, they weren't family names. I think, well, maybe my brother, maybe James was named after my grandfather. I don't know where they got my other brother.
Because you're named after your dad. Your middle name's your dad.
Right. And maybe, I'm not sure. It's just a combination of stuff. But, all right, Kenneth Egold. It's Wednesday, and that means two things. Wing Day at Double D's.
Yeah, there you go.
And C. Mills will be eating wings.
That is potato salad.
Yes, potato
salad. You know,
salad.
it's funny. My mom brought me
ready.
potato salad last night for Livy for dinner, and I was like, I wonder how this compares to the Double D's potato salad. First thing I thought of.
Josh Richardson, Double D's. I've heard good things. Yeah, we like to say good things about Double D's.
Yeah, they're great.
There we go, in Clayton. Driver, MLM, are you making that up on Wings Day today, or is this a ploy to get people to go to Double D's?
See how our advertising works? All those people, bam, 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 that's what they thought of.
Spray Jockey, will Fauci answer a question today or plead the fifth? According to reports, he pleaded the fifth on a majority of things, but there were a couple things he was reading from a script.
Yeah. So this was the Fauci testimony day.
Yeah.
We'll have a bunch of that audio for you guys tomorrow.
All right. Kenneth Egold. And the baked potatoes are my favorite. Again, we can't get off of Double D's. Oh, and also Spray Jockey. Do they only have baked potatoes on Thursday? I went there on a Thursday.
It was the loaded baked potato is the special on Thursday. I'm not aware if that means that's the only day I should ask. I'll ask Tina.
I bet they had to start increasing the output on the potato salad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need more potato salad. Oh, and he says, Spray Jockey says, when he went to Double D's, he walked in and said, "I'm from the Rob Kendall Show, and I'm here to eat."
That's great stuff.
All right, Kevin Branham. Good morning, Rob and Jason. Again, this is all before the show even began. Bart Telt Farms. Tom will be in with us next week. He's going to talk about, he thinks that they're ramping up the PR, public relations, in Du Bois County. We always say that wrong. Du Bois County. He thinks they're going to make another attempt at the Mid-States Corridor.
Oh, sure.
I think that's what he meant when he texted me last night. He says they're getting awful noisy again down here, and the PR is beginning. The PR engine is revving.
We'll have him in next week. We'll do it.
So we'll find out what's going on and how badly they're treating the farmers, because there's a lot of talk down there. They're back invading the farms now without permission. So we'll get that from Tom next week. And he says today, good morning, everyone. Checking in before I go outside to beat the heat. Leave some juicy chat for me when I watch later. You'll be watching later. A lot of people watch later. Josh Richardson, looks like we guessed wrong for Rob's shirt today. It will definitely not be yellow.
Yeah.
They spend, like last night, part of the thing is let's guess Rob's shirt color, and he put the zinger in with the stripe.
I did it just to piss you off.
You did.
I literally thought about this morning. I was like, screw that dude. I'm wearing this shirt today. Because I put it on.
Mission accomplished.
I put it on, and I was like, Jason's going to be mad. And then I thought, I can't make Jason mad. And I was like, I don't work for him. I'll wear whatever shirt I please. I've worn this shirt a while.
Don't worry about video quality, Rob. Just piss Jason off. Now, see, I can do it because I'm only from like right here up. See, but you're the whole. We got you on the whole frame there.
Well,
MLM Warriors. Rob broke his streak of solid shirt colors.
That's right.
Yep. Steve Green with an E. Good morning, all. Taking my lady on a side quest, so I'll be driving. It just appears to me that Steve Green and Mrs. Green with an E have a good marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it seem so?
They're fun.
He seems to give in and understand who's the boss.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun. They came to our live show.
Yeah. He says, hope my passenger princess will jump in the chat. You guys are awesome. Have a great show. Let's go. So he'll be listening later as well. Continuing on, Josh Richardson, is the American flag new on the table, or have I just missed it? Did you notice, Rob? You did. You did notice? You didn't say anything. You didn't thank me. Rock Laws, what color is it? What color is that shirt?
Red, white, and blue.
Oh, it's red, white, and blue. It's whitish with red and blue
checkers.
Checker, screw up the video stripes.
Yeah.
Kevin Branham, looks like gray. MLM Warriors, checked red, white, and blue. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner there. All right, Vic Ferrari. Every time I tune in, Rob's yelling at me about something we need to feel good. Oh, about something we need. Okay. Every time I tune in, people, they don't use commas. Every time I tune in, Rob's yelling at me about something. We need to feel good. We need a feel-good segment once in a while. At producer Jason. He's blaming me because you complain.
Oh.
Rob, you have feel-good segment today? Was there a feel-good segment?
Well, I think
Diego, he did something good, didn't he?
Diego did something good, and then he made it all about himself. We started with the feel-good segment.
Diego.
He did the right thing, but then he made it all about himself.
Yeah, see, Rob tried. All right, the old man 68, I like how it appears that the Ultimate Warrior is carrying the American flag instead of Hulk Hogan. Rob rearranged them earlier, though. I think he knocked one of them off. That's why I took Peyton off the table.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid Rob was going to break his other finger.
Risky adventure.
Yes, it is. All right, Bucko707. Who is a female.
No kidding.
Pointed out yesterday, Bucko707 is a female. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think she's the one that ended our chat yesterday with the cancer comment.
Oh.
I believe so. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Anyway, Wednesday, happy hump day. Not sure why I write this as I'm retired. Every day is the same. Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever. You notice, now one thing I noticed, I was talking to my mom about this a couple different times. It's like, she's like, what day is it? Oh, I'm getting old. I can't remember what day it is. I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with age. Most people have no clue what day it is because you used to, even as a kid growing up, you'd get the Star or the News every day.
That's right.
And you'd have the newspaper there, and as you turn the pages, you would. I was one of those that I was interested in the newspaper business, so I would check out every detail of the newspaper, how everything was laid out, the copywritten, everything, typesetting, everything. But you would always just that would be ingrained in the rest of your day because you would constantly, every page had the date on it. And now it's just your phone. It's like, I don't remember 2 seconds ago when I looked at my phone what the time was or the date or anything. But nonetheless, why did I get off on that? Oh yeah, because it's hump day, which could be any day for them. Okay, continuing on. Let's see. MLM Warriors. Yes, the shirt on my PC looks like it's white with gray check stripes. Yes, it's blue and green or the red. Okay. Okay, let's see. Continuing on. Anthony, Gary, Indy Dwell. Good morning, beautiful people. Smash that like button. Little low on the likes today.
Come on, you guys got to step it up.
Yeah. Driver, like the flag. I think the shirt is red and gray stripes, Cherokee pattern on a white field. I don't know what that means. Oh, and then when you had Diego on for his short comment, the old man 68, what's a Republican?
He went for 2 minutes. Like, I cut some of it out.
Republican.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, just vote.
Kevin Branham. Hey, Rob, what color is your shirt? Asking for a friend.
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
America.
This shirt is just, it's half the chat. All right. Vic Ferrari. Don't tell them what color your shirt is, Rob. Stay provocative and mysterious. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know why I kept highlighting those. All right. Vic Ferrari. Billy Joel to me was your Springsteen to you, Robert.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You ever do that where you just start looking at stuff and then 30 minutes later you're like, how did I even end up here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time. All right. Debbie Holcomb. Zoom in. You can see that his shirt is different than the chair. They were like, it's the same color as the chair.
It's like the Zapruder
Again, people
film.
looking on their phones. So, Mad Duck. Rob upholstered to match the chair today.
It's not the same color as the chair.
No, it's not.
I can assure you.
All right. C Mills. Now I want to go listen to Piano Man. See, I would think Billy Joel's lyrics were a little more in touch with the average youth of the 70s and 80s than Springsteen. I don't know. Just my opinion.
Well, you're a lazy listener. That's your problem.
Maybe I'm not from New Jersey.
You're lazy. Well, so is
weird
Billy
people
Joel.
from New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, New York.
Yeah.
I mean, Long Island.
His songs seem more Midwestern, though. I don't know. All right. Tom Heller.
I remember this years ago. Do you remember this? You probably don't.
Probably
but
not.
When I was your, I don't know, was your intern wasn't the right word, but I was.
You're my subordinate.
Doing your bidding.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling you that I was going to take somebody to a Springsteen concert, and you were like, "You don't want to do that. He's too old and whiny. Chicks aren't going to be into that at all. She's never going to hook up with you if you take her to a Springsteen concert."
Ah, that's right. It was like you took one girl to see a first date, the movie.
Yeah, no.
The Christ, what was that? What was it? What was it called? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I had some great strategies anyway.
There was no talking in the movie, was there?
No. All right.
Something of the Christ. Okay.
What's next?
Anyway.
I had some strategies that didn't pay off.
That was a one-date wonder right there. DC, hey, you got to try, though.
Yeah.
You got to let them know that you're cerebral. They don't like that, though. DC Pilot Indy. That's a new one. DC Pilot Indy. If you vote for a person in the primary and the person turns into a real slime bag, I shouldn't have to vote for them in the fall. You're talking about the voting and the way they're going back to look to see if you voted, or if you vote in the Republican primary, you can't vote in the general or whatever that all is.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't explain that well. Okay. Theller. Excellent criticism of HD radio. Broadcasting industry was so greedy. When you mentioned HD radio and how they screwed it up. And, yeah, nobody.
Oh, no.
I mean, 99 out of 100 people would have no idea what HD radio is.
No, I mean, I remember they had that technology, and the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same thing that happened with streaming. The music industry fought over the streaming stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then Napster and all those other guys came along and just got people used to listening for free instead of getting people used to paying a little bit for it. It's just unbelievable.
All right, now we're talking about Trump's eulogy at Rob's funeral, which we hope never happens, because how old is Trump?
80, right?
Okay, so he's got a few years on you, so hopefully you're still around.
I mean, I
long
said it
after.
sarcastically.
I understand. Debbie Holcomb, bah ha ha ha, Rob. Trump will say you were a dream at your funeral. All right. C. Mills, we all know Trump will be president for the next 300 years, so he could be at all of our funerals. Okay, sorry.
Trump is one of those people that it's like, you just think he's going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy is.
He's aged a lot in the last couple of years, though. It feels like. Yeah.
Well, that job.
Like
I mean, look at those photos of Bush, Obama, whatever. Right. I mean,
well, that's all on purpose. They dye their hair when they're running for president, because most older men do not have brown hair, black hair. They're dyeing it, right, which is fine. And then they after they get into the second term, That's when it's like, okay, you got to start looking like you're a seasoned, wise man, not like a little guy running, for president again. So they all end up very gray. And it's like, no, they didn't end up gray. They started gray. They just stopped coloring is what they did. So let's not be fooled. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Almond Joy Tempo. Speaking of dead presidents, those beeps sound like Biden flatlined, but kept coming back. That was the soundbite you played from Biden there. The old man 68. What voter in the right mind would respond to a subpoena to discuss who they voted for? Oh, I would, and I would show up, and then I would unleash, because that's not like a court of law where you're in front of a judge.
Right.
Right. You can just unleash on those a-holes.
I mean, it's utterly ridiculous that they even considered doing this, that somebody voted to do this, what right do you have to know who somebody voted for or why? But I mean, it came down to Diego. Diego could have said yes.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Good job, Rock Laws.
Yeah.
Got that one right. Oh, and Driver, Trump can pre-record it for Rob, your eulogy. At your funeral.
Oh, in case he doesn't make it.
Yeah, in case he doesn't make it.
Well, it was funny because, like, Jack Nicklaus, who's a famous, the greatest golfer of all time, he was, he's in his mid-80s now. And they asked him, he hosts a tournament every year in Ohio. And they asked him about an event coming up in 2045 in Ohio. And he looks at the guy and he goes, what year did you say that was? And he said, 2045. And he goes, will you guys have a good time? It's like, I'm not going to be here in 2045. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Get out of here.
All right, let's see. Okay, talking about the roads. I believe didn't Diego talk about the roads or something? Or so there was a soundbite about the roads crumbling. Mad Duck, they're crumbling now. I believe it was Diego in his soundbite that was. Was it Diego?
No, I bet they're talking about Nikki Kelly. We're talking about Nikki Kelly. We're talking about the gas tax.
Right. Okay. Josh Richardson, the roads are crumbling now. Shrog Sandwich, they're already crumbling. You sure that was Nikki?
We were talking about the suspension of the gas tax.
Oh, okay.
And then I said people are going to have to pay, all this more money for gas now because Braun's not going to resuspend the gas tax. And then, Nikki and I got a conversation about whether you could get rid of the gas tax or not, and she didn't want to.
I still think they were talking about Diego, but
no,
I stand
Diego
corrected.
did not mention any roads.
Okay,
I think it's Nikki Kelly.
The old man 68. The roads are already crumbling with the gas tax. Robert Schwartz, and yet everywhere they are under construction and detour. C. Mills. The government knows how to take the taxes. They just don't know how to spend the taxes. You can take a reservation, but you have to keep the reservation. Yeah, that was a Seinfeld reference there, I believe. The old man 68. Rob should look into which member of the legislature owns or is invested in daycares.
That's a good point.
Yeah, liquor store one side, daycare center on the other. Shrog Sandwich, dumpster fires are contained. This is out of control.
Yeah, good point.
Debbie Holcomb. Thanks, Nikki. Now we're on to Nikki. Maybe we were before. MLM Warriors, I learned a few things from the interview with Nikki. Kevin Branham, good interview as always with Nikki.
Thank you.
People love Nikki. Oh, and here's the old man 68. Always a great interview with Nikki. Awesome. Jack the Libertarian. I'm in Kokomo today and just passed the famous hip hugger that Jason talked about a while ago. Should have stopped in and said, hey, to Tatiana, see if she's still there. I bet she's still working the day shift. All right. Kevin Branham. Thank you for the third hour, John Rust. Driver, third hour. Thanks, John Rust. Driver also. Black Sheep Plumbing. Thanks for the chat. And we should call it the Black Sheep Top 10 Chat List. No, we just call it the chat, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. I think that suffices. Robert Schwartz, staff needs to keep budgeting so their paychecks last until the election. We're talking about Mitch McConnell's staff.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, those people are all going to be out of work, aren't
put
they?
People on the
I didn't even think
unemployment
about
line.
that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
All right. And Drew, back in the chat. Can't wait to see you all at the Rust event.
Yeah.
That's right. John Rust putting on the big party for my birthday. And, well, he does it every year. Not for me, but this will be the first time I've attended. So technically I don't think it's for me. But He said there'll be almost 100 people so far from just the Rob Kendall Show.
Yeah.
So there's going to be and he's always had, 50 to 100 people anyway.
Yeah, I mean
so we've added like almost doubled his output. So that's going to be a lot of wings and potato salad. And we discussed the cake. I'm not sure I'm supposed to divulge what the cake is. I'm not sure if that's a secret or not. He just texted me one day after we discussed it and says, "So you like carrot cake?" It's like, I will not show up if you have carrot cake for my birthday. So he assured me there would not be carrot cake. And then we discussed it, and there's going to be a really cool cake. So we'll see if John
like a big picture of your face.
Well, that would be really cool. But no, we're just talking cool. So there we go. Now, the chat, of course, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Let's see what we get. Did we get to 50 people? Oh, 47 people in the chat. Awesome. And we go to number 10 with Kenneth E. Gold, 250 points. They're vacuuming. It's like the...
and where they're going to barge in here.
It's like being at a hotel. Don't knock on my door.
We put a sign up. Occupied.
Do not disturb. Number 9. So Kenneth Eagle was number 10. Made it up to number 10 barely by the skin of his teeth. Made it to number 10. Number 9, the old man, 275 points. Number 8, Real Cowboy Chris, 325. Tied with MLM Warriors at 325. Spray Jockey, 425. Kevin Branham jumped up to number 5 with 600 points, tied with Rock Laws with 600 points. Number 3, Debbie Holcomb, 625 points. Number 2, 675 points, Driver. Number 1, I believe he was the first in the chat last night, probably why he's number 1, can't be for sure. 800 points, Josh Richardson.
Wow. They're getting really close to that door.
Well, at least they're doing their job.
They're at the door.
It's one of the few buildings we've been in. Yeah, one of the few buildings we've been in where they actually do a great job of maintenance, keep the toilets clean, and
I said
all
this
that good stuff. Not going to tell you where we're at though. We're hidden away.
One of the amazing things about Indianapolis real estate, commercial real estate, is Hogshead has so destroyed the city that you can get really good deals on Indianapolis real estate now. Rent, and I was floored at how
apparently there's a big discount in every building in the city for home health care. Because everybody here is home health care. Everybody at the last place was home health care. A lot of them have a desk and a printer. That's got to be a law. We need to look that up. There must be a law that I know there's a law you have to have some sort of an office to be a home health care. And I bet it says there must be a desk and a printer because they all have, you look in, there's no chairs, nothing, just a desk and a printer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I mean, home health care, you're not health caring people in a home in the office. So, I mean, I suppose they're on the up and up, but I wouldn't know. I don't check on the businesses.
Are you done?
I am done with that. All right. Thanks to John McKinney for the chat. Thanks to John Rust for the third hour. Thanks to, me for bringing it all together in the end of the third hour.
I'd like to thank myself.
I would because not many people do. All right. So long, everybody. I'm out of here.
All right. That is going to do it for us today. You guys have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. We will see you right back here tomorrow at 9 until noon. Take care of yourself. Try to stay cool out there. For producer, hit that little thumbs up before you go. Really help us out. Hit that thumbs up. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how we grow the Rob Kendall Show. Producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching. You've been listening to Rob Kendall Show.